Hello everybody and welcome to the Gilded Flask, where adventure is never far. My name is Barry and I will be your dungeon master for this session. I'm joined by three wonderful people. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Anne and I play the emotional and inquisitive Carla Galilacart.
I'm Daniel. I play the Hexblade Paladin Oath of Midnight.
And I'm Marissa. I play Casariel, the ASMR Twilight Cleric.
Our intros keep getting better.
We're getting worse. I think the only one who has it together is like Marissa and then Barry, and then me and Daniel are over here struggling every week.
It's
You guys try
Barovia
to
that's
be
getting a
clever.
grip on us.
You try to be clever on the fly, and you got to plan that stuff out sometimes.
Yeah.
It works sometimes.
I did no cleverness just then.
But hey, it's still us, right? So hi, welcome. Good to see you. If you are joining us through Twitch, then great. Hello, good to see you live. And please join our Discord, because if you want to talk to us, you can do so during our break. And also feel free to clutter up the chat with all of your questions and points, because it's fun. If you're not following us live, then that is fine too. We also have a YouTube channel where you might be watching us. And if you want to listen to us on the go, you can totally do that too through our podcast on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, whatever you want, we're there. We have a couple of amazing people that we always like to shout out, because who are we if not for the people that we work together with to create our amazing content? The maps that are made by DM Andy, but also some other stuff that we have, the music and all the other things. If you want to have a comprehensive list of all of the people that we are working together with, then please look below the YouTube video for a comprehensive list of all of the creators. And with that, let's head into the tale.
Tell me, do you like ghost stories? I've been investigating people vanishing mysteriously into the night, never to return. It looks like I've found out where they've been.
Good evening.
I don't like this place. The air feels heavier.
Did you hear that?
What do you mean he's watching?
In this place, nothing is what it seems.
We come from an ancient land.
There's no time for this. What are you looking for?
This place has taken my father and my mother. It will not have me.
We gotta move, now.
Oh, I do love a good mystery.
Barovia is mine, and so are you.
Episode 46, right? 46, yeah, so that means 46 times this intro, and I can't get enough of this. It's so amazing. Made by our very own Casariel. You did such an amazing job. Thank you for that.
Absolutely fantastic.
It is. So, where were we last time? Well, you guys were in Strahd's beloved castle, Castle Ravenloft. You started out there last episode, and you were looking around after a brief meeting with Strahd. You ran into his accountant. That's some fun D&D roleplay, right? When you can play a financial accountant. It actually turned out to be a pretty okay part of the session, because it was completely off the rails. But it was fun. You looked around a bit over there. You learned a couple of things about Strahd's bookkeeping, I guess. From there, you explored a little bit more of the castle. You went downstairs and into the Larders of Ill Omen. Basically the lower part, well, one of the lower parts of the castle. And ran into one of his servants, Cyrus Bellevue. who is, and I don't even know that I've specifically pointed it out, but your characters noticed, I think, is that he is a mongrel folk.
Yep.
Same kind of creatures that lived in the Abbey in Kresk. You ran into the, well, let's call it the meeting room downstairs, which is completely made of bone, like an ossuary, if you will. The walls are covered in bones, the table was made of bone, everything was made of bone. John lost his complete shit over there because that is something you shouldn't do. And because of that, also triggered a big fight over there with some skeletons. And then you guys noticed that there was a beautiful large skull hanging there from the ceiling as a chandelier, which was the skull of Argynvost. You managed to steal the skull and take it with you. And after some consideration, you decided to leave the castle through a hidden exit that you guys know of because of some blueprints that you found way earlier in the story. You left the castle and you went to the village of Barovia that you haven't been to for about 40, I think 2 episodes by now. You rented your old room and you took a long rest. When you took a long rest, you also got a level up because, well, you found the skull of Argynvost. And you managed to survive one day in Castle Ravenloft. So because of that, you guys are now level 12. Congratulations. And before we get into it, let me know, what did you guys pick for your level up?
Go in alphabetical order, started with Casario.
Sure.
Oh, I took Warcaster as a feat, which I thought I already had, but I didn't. Yeah,
Noted.
that's it.
That's scary.
Yeah. Right? So look out.
I don't know if I like that.
What exactly does Warcaster do? I forget all the cool things about that.
So you have advantage made on your Constitution saving throws to say Constitution checks
yeah.
save your yes. And then I can also cast a spell as my reaction.
That's pretty bad.
For like an opportunity attack.
And if memory serves, you no longer have the disadvantage when you're casting against someone that is in your melee range.
Right. That's a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can now do fireball against someone next to you.
Or
Ariel could do fireball.
or guiding bolt. She could basically reach up, touch someone in the head, and be like, "You're enchanted." In their head.
No.
Oh,
I don't know if we might need to deny Casariel this specific part of that.
But no, like
let her become a tank. She deserves
wounds. Inflict wounds as a reaction, as an opportunity attack.
Yes. Get back here.
That's just.
Yeah. Exciting. That's me.
And Carla became more roguish, I think.
I did. I took a 2nd level in rogue, and just you wait, because by 3rd level I'm gonna be so fucking uncatchable. That is what I did.
What do you get at level 2 of a rogue?
I believe I can't remember, to be honest. There's basically nothing. It's like, oh, you become slightly more stealthy, but I'm already really stealthy, so it's like.
Okay. Oh yeah.
No sneak attack yet, or do you already have that? And I just didn't.
I have sneak attack. Yes.
Well, there's gonna be something really cool.
I don't get to use it often.
That's big.
At 2nd level, you get a cunning action. That's what you get.
So you do get cunning action.
I'm stupid.
Oh, okay. So as a cunning action, so basically as a bonus action, you can use a couple of actions that would otherwise be actions. So you can dodge, you can dash, you can disengage, and you can hide.
Yep.
Excellent. I'm going back to Bard next level then. That's what I was looking for. Incredible.
Love it.
I did not read up. I was like, level 3, I'll get that. I don't have to worry about level 2 at all. Incredible.
So yep,
wonderful.
You're
I'm going to be
zipping around. Your 25 foot of movement speed is now 50. Congratulations.
Yeah, you can only use it for 3 things, but the 3 things that you can use it for, I just quickly looked it up to be sure, but the 3 things you can use it for is dash, disengage, and hide, which is usually the only ones you want to use as a cunning action.
Yeah, so like now I'll have like a regular people speed, and good luck trying to hit me. So yeah, that's great. That's me.
She just turns into Neo. She's gone.
Like Tracer.
I'm invisible and I'm disengaging. Well, that's not fair. Too bad. All right. John is becoming a little bit more resolute in his beliefs. You've seen him become a little bit more agitated when innocent people or at the very least people who shouldn't be in danger are in danger, or if so he's becoming more resolute, and that is showing the in the form of several new spells. I think he now has Spirit Shroud as a warlock spell, and that is sort of buffing up his aura. It now makes him a little bit more dangerous whenever he uses that, and he's dipped a little bit into darker things because if he needs something done, he needs it done. So I've also taken Fear. So that's going to be interesting to see on the battlefield. I've taken away one of my invocations that no longer did anything because I'm a paladin, and so I now have Repelling Blast, and I can push people away from my my allies. If someone gets too close to Carla or Casariel, I can forcibly shove them off a cliff. And I think now his willpower has become so great that upon killing an enemy, he is able to harness their soul before it escapes into Barovia, into the land beyond or the skies above. He can grab them and say, "You must atone for your actions. Fight for us." So that'll be interesting.
Isn't creepy at all. Alrighty.
We'll see.
Sounds like a lot of cool stuff. Let's see how you guys can use that. You guys will start off in the Blood of the Vine Tavern, which is the tavern in the village of Barovia, where you rented your old room for one more night. You have entered. Did you guys want to start off where you already had your rest, or do you want to have some talk pre-rest? Because I'm fine with either. You already applied your level up. Where do you want to start?
I really want to see the march, so I wouldn't mind being mid-rest.
That is perfectly fair. So let's do that. Then here you are, and the floor is yours.
Okay. So I was going to keep an eye on the window and sort of wait until the moon kind of gets to its highest peak before she'll keep an eye on that while they're either resting up or talking to get ready to see if she can dart out and just have a quick look at what's happening at the graveyard.
Alrighty. So as you are looking out at the graveyard, you will see that let's just say that you guys started out when it was in the evening, and the weather is a bit dreary out. It's still a bit misty. It is starting to rain a little bit. There is not much to see. The church itself has some light coming out of it, from a few dotted candles probably, but otherwise the place seems completely barren. You will carefully wait your time and see what happens. I can imagine you, being well versed in anything ghost-like, will probably think to yourself and laugh at the idea that probably it will happen at the stroke of midnight, because as in any good ghost and horror story, the scary things happen at midnight, right? But every fairy tale is based in some truth, so you keep an eye on an eye out on the graveyard, wondering if the stroke of midnight would indeed be the cue. And sure enough, as you get closer to midnight, all of a sudden you notice a very faint sparkle near the graveyard. It has a bit of a greenish hue, and it starts to lighten up a bit more and a bit more and a bit more, and you, with anticipation, you look out at the graveyard to catch a glimpse of, anything, to see what's going on there. And all of a sudden, you notice that the green hue that is coming from the graveyard is starting to move. And from where you are right now, looking out at the graveyard, you can see the entrance. And through the entrance, you see a small procession. The procession consists of, from what you can tell, men and women in normal clothing and in soldier's clothing, armor. And as the procession is starting to come out of the graveyard, they start to grow more and more and more of them, until a vast army, almost, of ghost-like figures has come out of the gate. It must have been a couple of hundred of them. And as they have come out of the gates, they're all moving towards the castle that from Barovia you can still see on top of the mountain. The road towards the castle is, of course, quite a distance, but you can see them moving towards that.
Oh, wow. Never seen this much activity. Do you think they could be talked to?
Restless spirits. Wonder what their
I can
purpose
certainly-
is.
Talk to the dead, and so can you.
Yes, but they do this every night. It's almost
Yes.
ritualistic. Do you think they could be changed or diverted? And she's basically going to like take out her notebook and start like sort of scribbling and writing and like taking down notes of the procession. Do any of the clothes or armor strike me as from sort of our previous dealings with the Tome of Strahd? Like, does it look dated to that?
Nice one. You know what? Do me a history check.
Ooh, don't do those often. And I see why. It's only a +4. 19.
Fair. It is, as you look at it, like it's a bit of a distance, so you can't see all the details. But sure, there are a couple of soldiers in there that are wearing armor, some of them still holding spectral shields. And sure enough, some of those shields are bearing crests that you remember. Some of the crests are bearing the logo of Ravenloft. Some of them are bearing the logo of Arkenvostholt. You even see a couple that you've seen on banners in Vallaki. So it's a mixed pot, but all of the logos do seem to come from this land on the armor. But between all the soldiers, there are a lot of people just wearing everyday clothing that are sort of like walking along. It's hard to tell where they're coming from as it's just clothing.
I think we should try. Why not exhaust all of our options?
Do you think their state is similar to those in Arkenvostholt? Cursed, forced to remain here?
They
Likely.
disappear and reappear. That is what's strange. What is... Do you know of anything that keeps spirits in a loop like that, Carla?
Would she? I don't, but would she? Or is this something where it's like, I can...
I'd say that, as you might recall, this procession was hinted at when you guys entered Barovia. And I will say, back then, if you would have seen the procession, that would have just been like, oh, that's cool, and that's it. You've been in Barovia for quite a while now. You've learned a lot about the land, and there is one very important factor that you've learned, which is that spirits never leave this land. With that in the back of your mind, I think you can put one and one together here.
Okay, so it is just the plain... Okay. Yes, everything is trapped here. When I was talking to Sergei, he held out his hand, and when I was able to clasp it, he made me look at the sky, and I could see the spirits and souls floating there, trapped between the mists. I'm unable to leave Barovia. It's why people like Tatiana keep getting reincarnated in different forms, why revenants are here, so it must be something to do with that, though it is strange compared to what we've seen so far. Between reincarnation and revenant, this is different.
How many do you think have been trapped over the years in this place?
Hundreds?
The shame. Do you want to try to contact them, or do you think they might
do.
attack if...
That's what I'm worried about. It's a risk. It's certainly a gamble. I don't know if we want to take it right this second.
But didn't we learn these were people who tried to kill Strahd or oppose him?
Yes,
They
though
would be our
it's...
allies.
Would they?
No?
I'm going to look at Sariel as she says that. Allies in the fight against Strahd? Is that what you're saying? He's specifically emphasizing the fact that she just indicated that Strahd was an enemy.
Don't suppose you could, you have your spell that makes it so nothing can...
Yes. I will begin sort of going around the room, and within like a 10-foot sort of area of the room, I'll make a what's it called? Non-detection area.
Yep.
And I will leave the bag of holding outside the non-detection area with all of the gold in it.
All right.
Same. I'll make sure all of my gold is outside of it as well.
John doesn't understand why they're putting all their gold in a bag, but he'll take whatever he has on him and throw it in as well.
As a matter of fact, everything I've gotten from Barovia, I make sure it's outside of the non-detection area.
I hold my shield and my sword, and I keep them.
God damn it.
While we were meeting with Strahd, he spoke to me. This was the moment I've been waiting for, ever since we came here. I thought for certain there was some grand plan, some way that he meant for me to help him, for my mother to help him. This was something he had planned so that he could finally be free of his place as ruler here. That is why I have championed him, at least tried to. He doesn't care about that. He offered me the throne, but it was an empty promise. He wants to keep the throne. He wants my mother back, and he wants the gems, and I don't know why. He wants the gems. But he wouldn't want the gems if he didn't want to keep the throne. So it's all bullshit. My mother died. It's bullshit. So I want to kill the motherfucker, just like you do.
Carla will immediately like launch into like her arms and give her like a huge hug and be like, so sorry. So sorry.
Don't be sorry.
And then she'll like pull back and like hold your shoulders and say, but we're going to fucking eviscerate him. For your mother. For John's brother. For Irina. For the other girls that he's hurt. For the people that he's hurt. For the monsters he's created. For those souls that cannot rest. Going to eviscerate him.
I believe we can. My issue comes with what happens after that, because I think he comes back, Carla. I think he comes back like everything else.
Found out more. Had my own conversation. With the Water Fane. I know. He can be stopped. But we really need that other gem. And it's not an empty promise.
How do we get it? Wait a minute. I need to talk to Saloon. I think I can ask her to do it.
Is she Saloon in this land when you contact her?
I
Is she
have
able to
felt her
pierce through the
before.
mist?
I've never spoken to her exactly, but I have felt her before. She can see here. What?
What are we laughing at? Wait, what?
Just a little look
I know,
that
what
you
are we
gave.
laughing at?
Just a little look that you gave him. Sorry.
Oh, I gave Papa because he laughed.
Mhm.
He
He's
I'm
being
I'm just
sneaky.
sitting here enjoying the story. Like,
John
We've
also,
always are.
when Carla, hugs you and you guys are doing that, John also walked forward and like camaraderily squeezed your shoulder and like is indicating he's there with you.
Okay. He can be stopped. I would be wary of any gods replying in this place. So when asking for guidance, keep your intentions vague. At least, if you can. If you're able to.
Wait. Is there not some... I know all of the exchanges were awful in the Amber Temple, but perhaps we can make a deal there.
For knowledge.
For the gem.
They ask...
I feel like
The deals were not something that were negotiated. They simply happened, you saw. With me, I don't know if they would talk about it.
when I was walking towards one of them, I feel like I felt something that Carla also experienced, and what they offer, if we were to use their power to remove the blight of one of the other ones, the one Strahd dealt with, we would just be replacing one demon for another. I don't think it would work out in our best interest, or this land's best interest.
I think if we go into that castle after that gem, we're going to have to fight him. There's no question. So...
What if we could get in without him knowing? This is something that I can do on a room, but also a person. And I've been known to be quite sneaky, and I have a suspicion of where it is. Where he might just leave it. As a sort of fuck you to us more than anything else. I think he might have given it to Irina.
Some creatures can see through everything. John can, actually. Within 10 feet, I think. Does your spell work through that?
This is meant to be sort of an idea of scrying. If anything's trying to look at us, so if we're going for a more quiet time, then... but invisibility, I see what you mean. Some people can see through it. It's definitely gotten us in the past, but if he doesn't know we're there, where would he be looking for us?
If it helps, I can see both of you right now.
It helps greatly.
Those gargoyles and dragons, I believe they're sentries. I believe that's exactly their purpose.
If you go through the front door.
True. Carla, we could
also
let you go in there by yourself. If you're discovered...
Like, you're going to be doing a message to Irina. I think we could try and get more information from her. If there's any to be gotten, if she's gotten a gem recently, it could be more of a in, out, and run for our lives sort of thing, but we know where it is. So I've been thinking, if it's with her, she's at the highest tower in Ravenloft. I made a different friend in Ravenloft who I sent to look for her, and he came back with that information. Ghostly friend, don't worry about it, but she's in the highest tower. I can turn into a bird. I can be non-detectable. Up. Out. Maybe. If the gem is with her, that's my theory. If it's not, then we have to completely rework the plan and probably go in there and forcibly...
I can locate the gem. If I'm close enough.
Would be handy.
And I can teleport us out as well.
Yes! If we could find precisely where it is, plan everything about getting in and getting out as opposed to getting in, fighting, and then getting out, then we might actually stand a chance. And once we have it, we have more of a chance finding and stopping him.
Did the Fane tell you what the gems would do if we had all three?
It strips him of the additional power that he has from them, which is important. Because if he's in control of them, he's in control of a significant portion of this land. Without it, he's in control of himself. And he has something that can be destroyed that will destroy him. And I kind of look at Casariel and I'm like, you remember the wizard that we met? Not the weird one with all of the scribblings, but the one floating within the library. Or the sort of... the one that Strahd killed in the tome.
Oh.
The one that lived past death. Wizards like that, they're known as these things called liches. And they can be very painful and difficult to fight because they come back and they come back and they come back. Unless you're able to destroy their phylactery. Payne told me that Strahd is much the same. He has one. And the gem is the final clue in finding it, I think.
We don't know
I
what
hope.
it is without having the gem.
Yes. She said her sisters, they split the knowledge in order to keep everything safe. The final one belongs to the Fane of the lands. It's the final clue. It does mean he can be stopped. That's important.
Is good news. We should be excited. We can do this.
We could. Not immediately, but we could get a plan around it. And we just have to make sure he doesn't know that we know, and I'm so worried that he does.
Well, I didn't know that you know. So if he doesn't trust me...
I didn't know that you didn't know that she knows.
it's a good sign.
Oh, God.
At least that I didn't know. It's a good sign. I'm just gonna take John's shoulder and give him a little, yeah, buddy.
Yes. We probably want to, at the very least, get some of our allies up to speed so that if something does happen, they're aware of the state of things.
I do think it would be handy to have them when we go for that final confrontation. Just
You know
as
what I
little
think?
instructions.
Did
We
we
should
have...
plan the final confrontation with them, but not tell them about going to get the gem.
No.
Did we-
Absolutely not, no.
Did we have any other tasks to finish our dealings with Argynvost? To Argynvost Holt? To working with Gwillem and...
I do have a corpse in my bag that does need to be brought to the cemetery in Kresk. That thing is probably rotting now, so we do have to go and get that done before we return. And
Shit,
once
Carla
that's
says.
done, we might.
Wild. I did
have a
make
lot
friends with a ghost. I didn't tell you, but I have this corpse in my bag, so a matter of fact.
part of the tasks of Argynvost. Yes. Yes. So we that is something that probably needs to be done before we return because that gives us more support when we arrive there, and that might help with, getting Argynvost, the leader of Vladimir, on our side. It's meant to anyway. And we've dealt with the Spider Queen, and we've dealt with that. So I feel like 2 allies, John's brother, the icon of Ravenloft people, your father, and Sir Gwillem, that just might be enough. Might be enough.
Well, we've got a bit of a trek ahead of us. Did we want to see where those surly-looking ghosts are headed, or we know where they're headed? Did you want to try to interact with them before we head out?
I think that might. I mean, when are we going to be back here again? That's the question. All right, let's at least go out and see what they're doing.
All right.
So yeah, we'll pick our way across to the graveyard and kind of follow behind the merch.
All right. I don't have a scene for that, so feel free to keep it where it was. As you walk behind the procession itself, it is a relatively slow walk, but a steady one. And as you estimate from where they are right now, they would reach the castle in a couple of hours, the way they're walking. Do you want to follow them all the way to the castle, or do you want to do something else? Like, currently, you're just trailing behind them.
Trailing behind and getting sort of the tempo of them. Eventually, Carla will sort of like look back at the other two and kind of be like, just have my back with this. And she's going to like kind of like calm herself and sort of like almost enter a more like relaxed state. And she is going to almost like become more willing and perceptive to any sort of like ghostly spirits within this procession as she begins to move within them and seeing what sort of reaction comes there. And she's just trying to like gauge how it feels, gauge any thoughts she can pick up from them, or any just like the energies of being within that throng.
Sure.
In a more like relaxed seance-y kind of way.
So because these are all spirits, specters, undead, bordering on the realm of the undead in the real world, you can move through them both figuratively and literally quite easily. As you are, you get that immense sense of cold that ghosts tend to have around them. You know, you can see puffs of your breath as you're walking through them. There is an eerie stillness. You don't hear any breathing, obviously. You don't hear any shuffling of feet because, well, they don't really interact with the physical world. As far as the vibe that you're getting from this, give me a perception check.
That's going to be a 13.
There's definitely a certain dreariness here. That might be because of the complete lack of emotion, because, well, there's no emotion displayed either. Nothing happy, nothing sad either, but like a lack of emotion still gives certain dreariness to this. You're getting a sense of purpose from all of these ghosts around you because they are determined to go to a certain place, and there is really nothing that is deterring them from that. The fact that you are there is no different from that you wouldn't have been there, is what you're getting here.
I'm going to continue moving forward until I reach sort of the head of the crowd and see if there's any like leader of this mass, or is it all sort of shambling?
Cool.
Indifference.
There isn't really a leader here, but as you are moving through the crowd, you are learning something new that you couldn't see from your window. There are soldiers here. There are civilians here, but as you're moving through this, you're noticing something else that is in this group as well. There are elves here, and gnomes, and dwarves. All sorts of races that Barovia has been suspiciously lacking of are in here. Some of them in vibrant clothing, carrying leftovers of instruments on their back. Some of them look like they are more into the martial arts. Some of them look as if they were more on the shady side of business. Some of them kind of resembling what John looks like, but definitely more rundown and undead. You're getting this creepy feeling that these are adventurers. A whole lot of them.
Any of you hear me? She'll say as she sort of makes her way to the front of the group, and she'll turn and sort of walk backwards as they move forwards.
All right. One bard close to you slowly turns her gaze towards you as she keeps on walking. Her face is very pale, and there are like patches of flesh missing from her face. She looks very gaunt. And as you look at her, you notice that both of her eyes are missing, but she's still looking at you. Is there someone there?
Yes. An adventurer like you.
I want to make an arrow joke so bad, but I'm not going to. It's not the moment.
Yeah. Do you know where you are? Do you know what you are?
I think I didn't make it. I think my party didn't make it. We lost, didn't we?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I remember something. I remember talking to a man. A beautiful man. He was sitting at a table together with a lot of other people. We were invited for dinner somewheres. We had a very lovely conversation. I remember hearing organ music. Yes. Yes, and I remember a stagecoach. I remember a castle partially broken down, and a dragon? It's all so hazy. I remember people in a far-off land, trapped in time. I remember frogs. And I remember how it felt to die. When it felt like we had found the missing puzzle piece. He's too powerful. She tries to reach for you and tries to grab hold of you, but she can't. And as she does, her voice elevates and she says, "You must watch out. If you think you're there, it won't matter. He'll win. He always does."
Carla will reach out as well, and sort of as she has reached out to many ghosts before, she'll do her best to try to like bring her arcane energy forward to almost grasp this person's like hand and sort of make it feel more solid, more real.
That is so cool. Arcana check. Let's see if that works.
Oh. Okay, that's 21.
Cool. So she reaches for you and she can't reach, and as she draws her hand back, almost in like, a saddening like feeling like, oh yeah. You reach out for her hand and you grasp it like by the wrist, and she, for the first time in probably a very long time, feels something. And you're noticing that she feels something as she stands still for a very brief moment, as the people behind her are pushing her along again because she is being moved by this group. You. Who are you?
I'm Carla Lacott. I'm a paranormal investigator. And I've been trapped here, just like you were. But I'm planning on freeing these people. I'm going to.
Please. This is no way for us. We're headed to the castle. And when we reach the drawbridge, all of us will plummet to our deaths. Through the drawbridge, 1,000 foot down. It all ends there. And then I see again as I rise from my grave and start walking again tomorrow.
If you got into the castle, do you know what you would do? If that drawbridge was down? What are the intents of this group?
We're all marching on the castle. We're all marching on him. He needs to be stopped. We're with hundreds. If only we would be set on the castle, we could make a difference. But we can't.
Just the drawbridge that stops you.
It seems that the drawbridge isn't there for us. It is, but it isn't, and we just fall down.
You need a spectral bridge to get across. Some portal or some way in. That would break the cycle. You'd reach your destination. When this group be commanded, do you know? Do you think anyone is powerful enough to reach out and direct them, or is it all just mindless?
No one has taken command. Nobody is speaking. Not even my party members. I can't find them. Nobody speaks. I don't know.
I'm kind of like looking around to see if like this conversation has pierced the ears of anyone else that's marching or... And I'll be like, do any of you hear me as well? And try to just gather as much attention from any of them that I can.
Nothing. No one will respond.
Huh. Drawbridge. Okay. I will break out of the group and leave sort of the bard to march again. And I'll look at the other two, who I hope are just only keeping behind the group and not actually within it.
We've been trailing along the side, just to the side of the group as it walking. I presume. Me and Xaro.
When they reach the drawbridge, they die. They
already-
plummet down and they die. They never reach their destination. What if we could make them do it?
What do you mean? Make them, like, command them?
Well, they're going to march either way. The only thing that's stopping them is the fact that they can't cross the drawbridge. If there's...
Why can't they cross it?
There's some magical force to it. I don't know if we want to get that close to Ravenloft to try and see.
Well, we can dispel magic on it. If there's some magical...
Ooh.
Is something stopping them?
on the bridge.
I don't know. We'd have to go up and see what's going on, but I don't know how wise getting that close is.
I agree. Do you think there's anyone else who might know more about these people?
Maybe that priest. Maybe we could ask him. Maybe we could... We have to get that wedding dress in Vallaki. Maybe we could ask the abbot. Creatures like that know a little bit about spirits beyond, and it's not something that would directly be opposing his goal. It's just a question. We might be able to gather it from him. I think it's worth looking into. I mean, if nothing else, if these people reach their destination, it should free some of their soul. It wouldn't free them out of Barovia, but the restless energy of it might cease. They may rest for a little while. Or they enter the castle and they cause havoc. Either way, good.
We need to put the sister to rest in Kresk anyway, so it's not out of our way.
No, it is not. Looking back at the group, is there any dark elves there, like Casimir?
Like, like Casimir? Yeah, a couple.
A couple.
Not that many, but a couple.
Are they all women?
Not all of them, but yes, mostly.
The women. I'm going to look at them, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and recall Casimir and what he looks like, and I'm going to try and recall and see if I can see his sister in the throng.
Oh, okay. He has described her to you pretty well. But other than that, I don't think you have enough to go on to be able to. Oh no! Wait! You've seen her in the
The tomb.
Strahd. Yes,
Yeah,
so you
and
have seen
also
her.
on top of that, I'm kind of like I'm looking for anything that looks similar to Casimir as well. I'm kind of going family resemblance.
Fair. In that case, yes. Roll me a perception check.
Natural 20.
All right, you are 100% certain that she's not in this group.
Yeah, I could figure, but like if there's any chance. Ooh, okay.
Fair.
At
At least you now know that you haven't seen her here.
Because if I'd come back and been like, I definitely saw your sister there, I feel like that would be more offensive. Okay, great.
Do you say that's what you're looking for?
No, you'll see her just kind of like frantically looking around and then kind of like getting a little disappointed, but like a thoughtful look, and then she'll turn back to you two and she'll be like, well, we'll add it to the list. It's, if nothing else, it's an army, maybe.
Maybe we can find
Waiting and
someone who
waiting.
can build a ghost bridge.
There's another
Ghost
spell I
bridge.
know.
Dispel.
It tells me the lore about something, but it has to be of great legend. And I've never used it before, but supposedly, as long as it's a legendary thing, which this seems to be, it should tell me things about it.
I mean, legends are stories, right? If I told a story about something, wouldn't that make it legendary?
It has to be a very, very something of great significance.
Very important to me. What are we talking about again?
I love you, John.
So pretty.
Hmm.
Yes. No, so okay, I don't think it would apply to the group or the bridge. I think you might get a lot about Castle Ravenloft if you do it, but that would probably be what you'd get. I mean, maybe there's some answers in that tome. We'll have to look there again at some point when we have some time.
You know,
Just
we
feels
haven't
like we have no
spoken to in a
time.
very long time.
Who?
Madame Eva.
Isn't she back at the
Would she still be there?
swamp now?
She's not at the swamp
Oh.
anymore.
Didn't she turn
Wait, was
into a
it
demon?
really?
What?
Didn't
I'm
she
a bit
turn
confused
into
about that.
Yeah.
Kind of am too. It wouldn't be a bad shout to head over there and just say hello.
Surely
I
it
mean,
can't
we have no
really have been her. She just took her likeness. Because, right?
I think so.
Because we did see the hag get beheaded.
Yes, and we still saw her likeness there.
Right.
But what if the likeness came before the hag, and the hag used the likeness as it? Chicken and the egg? I don't know. We'll have to go and
That
investigate.
would mean
What does
Madame
poultry have
Eva
to do with
took the
this?
likeness of a Fane, and that would mean Madame Eva knows quite a lot more than we thought she did. And that would mean, who is she? Really, then?
So
Wait,
It's all coming together.
who is Madame Eva, then? If not really what we've seen.
she's one of the crow people?
No, they're dead. I think we
No.
literally killed the last one. I think we very literally murdered the last one. Yep. So I mean,
Isn't she the one that can leave? Madame Eva can leave whenever she wants, or no?
she wasn't in that group. Her group was out, but she wasn't actually in the group when she was out. We only know stories. We don't know anything factual.
Who else do we know that can leave whenever they want besides Strahd?
Esmeralda?
The Vistani.
No.
No.
Johnny, led by Madame
That's-
Eva.
All of the Vistani can, apparently.
What was the guy who brought us in here again on the carriage?
Lingari.
Yes, isn't he with Casimir? Or near Casimir?
He's with Casimir. Yes, he is within that group. All of the Vistani could leave because they saved him at the battle against Argynvost. Do you remember? They carried him off. I think he owes
Yes,
them
but
some
she
form
was
of
not
debt.
there. I recall.
She was no, but her group was out of it, and then that old man we saw when we met at the in the beginning, outside of the gates in Daggerford. He was of Madame Eva's Vistani camp. So I think all the Vistani can leave.
It feels so long ago.
I think... Yes, it does. Feels like an age ago at this point.
Do you think if people could leave, anyone, at their own free will, come and go, would that be a good exchange to allow Strahd to stay in power, but everyone must be able to leave if they want?
Do you think anyone would come back?
I think the good people would not come back, and the very bad people would come here.
Do we trust him to make a fair deal?
He does not seem to care about the people.
No, but he has to feed off them in some way. There must be something he gets out of all this. And if people are able to leave, I don't think it's like a conditional thing. I think the mist traps everything, including souls. And if people can leave, the souls could leave, and that means Tatiana leaves. And I don't think he'd be particularly happy about that. Well, let's go through our list. We'll say we'll park back up in the inn for the night, get a proper rest, and we'll go through our list. So, stop off Madame Eva's, maybe scope out, poke for information.
I have a question. Do you think if we were able to remove Tatiana's soul from the equation, do you think Strahd would remain here?
Don't know.
If we somehow got her through, or alternatively found some other way, do you think he'd have any reason to remain?
Like, bring her back to life, or what do you mean?
He comes back.
If her soul or spirit or whatever is remaining in this land is expunged, do you think that could end without further bloodshed, this war?
Do we know it's still here? If it was still here, why wouldn't he just...
Yes, and it's in Irina. That's why he wanted her. She's a reincarnation of Tatiana. If we were to expunge that soul...
I thought...
Expunge? Could you clarify? Do you mean kill her? Or kill her and allow her spirit to...
Like your mother. I feel like we could kill her and probably trap the soul. But I don't know if we could get it out of Barovia. I don't know if that's how these... The issue is we don't know how the mists work. How do they work?
Carla, do you know how to destroy a spirit?
Not in this land. This works differently.
He's gonna look at Gasariel. Is she looking at him in a certain way or any way?
Yeah.
I don't like it any more than you. I'm just exploring our options. It's abhorrent, but if it stops further violence, then I'm just exploring our options.
I mean, in the regular world outside of here, there are planes of existence that souls tend to go to after they pass, or they return to the ground, or they dissipate into the stars. It has a normal cycle. It usually depends on the person and what they were or what they are, inherent to them, what they believe in, what gods care for them. Or, they do things like that, and I'll point over at the glow marching away. They rise up, they stay, they have unfinished business, and they can't rest until they do. And that's where all the really interesting stories are, but that's not the point. The point is, all of that, what we know,
in our reality does not apply here. There's something that stops those souls from doing the regular things that they do. And it's the mists, I think. I think when Sergei showed me, there's a barrier blocking any soul from truly leaving. And I also think you can't destroy them. I think this place holds on to any amount of soul that it has, because sometimes there's things like that outside in the bar that have no soul. Husks. They're still people, they still deserve good lives, but they don't have souls. And that means they can't have spirits.
I just mean that if there were some way to, if we can't destroy him, if he's too powerful for us, if we can't deal with him, then denying him what he's here for might be the way to remove him. I don't know. It sounds
Kills us.
disgusting to say out loud. But
What if I send her to another plane? And he has to go get her there? Do you think I can do that here?
you
I think
did
that would be
something.
a...
You did something like that
similar.
with the doctor, right?
Did I?
The
I don't think
Dr.
so.
Daskalu. When we were facing Escher in the Amber Temple, you
You banished him.
you removed him from our existence.
Oh. Yes, that's a bit different than what I'm thinking, but yes.
Yes, because if you banished her, she would turn to the place that she's from, and that's here.
Right.
So is it a different spell?
Yes. It's one where I can quite literally send someone to any plane that I should choose.
Like the wand
I
did on
think-
boxes.
Like I could send you both home with this spell.
I don't think we're
I
the
think-
people to use it on, and I don't think she is the person to use it on the first time. I think it would be worth trying something else, and she'll look at like you in a way, and then kind of like look to wherever you store like your mother's soul.
As a quick point of note, because like the one that knows the spell for banishment would know this. So this is your conscience suddenly speaking. You can use banishment on a creature that is native to the plane, but it will send it to a demi-plane for the remainder of the spell. So technically you can still do it, but it's not a permanent solution. Just so you know. Please continue.
Like a Hail Mary as well.
Feels like something we'd need to test.
As I said, I'm just thinking about our options. So, sorry, Carla, you were saying our plans as we go back?
Yes. As we head back, we need to get ascending. We need to. We can stop in at Madame Eva. That's on the way. Valaki is the hit after that, and then Kresk is the hit after that. And if we do that in that order, we can get the wedding dress. That might give us a bargaining chip with the abbot, and that might lead to more information. Right now, we just have to gather as much information as we can until we get our hands on what we need. And allies. Allies are very important.
Right. Well, we've got a few tasks to clean up our business with Arkenfostholt, and even if that doesn't help us with Strahd, at the very least it'll set free a few of these souls. And I know they will
I
still
hope you're
be
better.
here in Barovia. Sorry, Casario, what was that?
Oh, sorry, that was me.
Oh.
I saying it might help your brother. Might help Casario's father at least rest, even if they're still here.
No one should be forced to live an existence driven through hate and revenge.
Let's get some sleep. It's been a very long day.
Agreed.
All right.
Will we
You
do
guys
watches
decide to-
just to be safe? Sorry.
What?
Will we do watches?
Good point.
We do watches just to be safe.
Yeah.
Certainly. And
Right, sure.
yeah, you want to say what you were doing during your watch, if you have anything?
I'm going to use heat metal on some silver that we've obtained, like a silver just item that we've obtained, and I'm going to make a...
Yeah, you've stolen some cutlery here and there, so sure.
I'm going to like heat metal and like try to forge a pendant, like something that can go onto a chain. And I'm going to fashion it around one of the flasks with the like memories from the hags in it. So that I can like get it to a perfect fit for Xariel's like mom's vial. Like the vial with like Xariel's soul in it.
Rule of cool is going to say
Fair enough.
yes. Physics is going to say no. So I'm torn between the two because heat metal on silver around a glass flask, that's going to be tricky. But I love the idea. So make me a flat d20. Anything above a 10, this works. Anything above a 9, this works because it's cool.
All right, we got a 12, so we're good. We're
Cool.
good.
Let's go.
Nice.
You do this.
Okay. Yeah. It's delicate. It's definitely not the like cleanest. It's like bumpy and weird, but the whole point of it is just so that it can hold the glass more than anything else. Like not that it's pretty or delicate, just hold it within it.
Just for the sake of it, because I gotta ask, if you look at our logo, you got a glass flask that has like this like golden like thing above it. Does it look like that?
It looks like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wish I had an image to like put up for that right now. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have to
Like the one that we have keyed for Strahd where it's silver instead of gold. Yeah.
If we have any editing in the future, first of all, remembering times, they have 1 hour and 16 seconds or minutes. Right above here, I want to put a couple of images of those flasks. Good stuff.
And for those of you that are currently live on Twitch with us, if you look below in the panels, you can see the logo. You can
Very
also
true.
read stuff about us. It's cool.
And if you're listening on audio, you can check out any of these places to find the image.
Find the logo. Yeah.
Shill. Yeah. So that's what she's going to do with her watch time. She's going to create a little like pendant for Xariel to keep her mum close.
Wonderful.
I said mum very Irish. But yeah.
What about you, Casariel?
Sarah's gonna brood and walk back and forth. Maybe practice a few moves. You know? She's not very emotional. She's not doing anything super interesting. She's just planning on how to murder things.
Plotting.
Soundtrack in her head. She like paces and wears a groove into the floor.
The body
Basically.
It's the eye of the tiger.
No.
Super.
Much darker than that, unfortunately.
All right.
John he's got his chair in such a way that he can see the door, but he's also looking out the window every now and again towards where the green glow was. And if you look closely, he's still holding the sword blade, and he's got some of the radiance that comes out of it. He's just almost letting it merge with his own aura that has been developing ever since he sort of realized his more righteous purpose here. And you can actually see woven in through the aura are some of the strings that he has been not really understanding how he controls them, but he has some modicum of control. And you can actually see the strings almost intermingling with the aura in odd and interesting ways. And he's just looking at his
Becoming
hands.
golden snares.
Illuminated snares.
Fair. Wonderful. As I said, because you guys did level up already, nothing happens because you are in the comfort of an inn right now.
Yeah.
Nothing special ever happens in the village of Barovia, or does it? You're fine right now. So you wake up, hopefully relatively refreshed, the next morning in the Blood of the Divine Tavern after your long rest. If you haven't applied anything yet, feel free to do so. And of course, you're level 12 right now. So with that, it is a fresh morning. What do you do?
Is there anything left
Do
for us
wish we
here?
had those horses.
All right.
No.
Were we going to
Doesn't
talk to the priest at the, or are we trying to visit Eva first?
We're already here. We might as well pop over to the priest. Say at least hello, check in on how he's doing after we did, help him with his issue.
Right.
So yeah, we'll pop over to the Church of Barovia, so do a little knock on the door. Is it in better state than it was previously?
It is exactly the same state, if not even worse. As you go over to the church, you will notice that the priest will be at the altar, basically just preparing for a sermon by himself. There's a couple of candles that are lit, and as you walk in, he will turn around and say, "Ah, welcome, my child. The light of the Hang on. I believe
Hello.
I know you.
You do. We helped with that issue before. Hello, how are you? How are you doing? I see you haven't cleaned up this place, and she's gonna, like, you know, inch towards the altar, kind of kicking rubble as she goes.
John's gonna hang back.
It's been trying times, as always, and, well, at least my worries about my son are not keeping me busy anymore. I see that Tachana has made it safely to...
What did you
Do
call
you mean
her? She'll hold up her hand. Sorry, what was that name again? It's been so long.
Tachana. Oh, I mean Irina, of course.
In John's head, he'll hear, "Do you have anything that can make someone tell the truth?"
he'll take a few steps closer and he'll first of all divine sense. this put him on edge a little bit.
Sure. You will notice
60 feet of okay, cool. And then he'll reach towards him and he'll just sort of gesture and say, I suggest you talk to my friend here. I suggest you talk to my friend and tell her more of what you know and cast suggestion.
Cool. It fails. Instantly.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's gonna look at Carla and be like, nothing happened.
Nothing?
No, normally this
Interesting.
works. I've done it a couple of times. I don't really know how it works, but what's going on with you? He's gonna point at the priest.
Oh, well, nothing much. I've been trying to keep the church at least in working condition. You know, after your visit, it's been so, well, troubling. A lot has happened in the lands. We've lost our burgomaster and his 2 children now. I've been trying to keep the parishioners together.
Are you alive?
You see him looking for his hand and then pinching in his own hand. And he says, I guess, why do you ask?
I just tried something on you and it didn't work. Normally it does.
Really?
Holy
would
business,
that
he's
be?
a paladin.
It's something like that.
I'm in the market for holy business. I am a priest, after all. What exactly was that?
Normally I do this thing and it makes people more suggestible. It didn't work for some reason. So that's why I was like, I was a little bit thrown off. Normally this works. So, sorry.
That's all right, my child. So what is it I can help you with? There must be something if you've come all this way back.
What is he wearing?
More or less the same thing as he was wearing the first time you saw him. So like one of those monk robes that are like been stitched and patched here and there. Like it looks like this is the only robe he has, and he just patches it on as he goes along. So it's more patched than robe at this point. And he has one of those little, like, I'm not sure what they're called, but like those white collars above it, which is like sort of shows that he's like, you know, on official business. So he looks every bit the priest, but he looks a bit like, you know, not a very rich priest.
Well, we're here to discuss the little parade we saw last night. You know, the march.
The March of the Dead. Yes. If I had a morbid sense of humor, I'd say I'd sell tickets for it, but yes, it is a daily occurrence, the strike of midnight. I'd almost say perpetually, every day. They rise from my graveyard, more than are buried here, I feel. And they march on the castle, and I don't know what they do there, but they rise the next day, and, well, there you have it.
And you've never seen where they go. You've never followed them.
No.
Never
No,
seen what happens when they reach the castle.
No, I prefer to stay here. I do not, as much as I care for the lives of my parishioners, I do not care much for their inaptitude to come to terms with death.
But you obviously also had a problem with that, considering you let your son live down below. And with this, she's going to cast vicious mockery. Just to poke
It
him,
fails.
just to see. It fails?
That fails.
Fails, interesting.
He just laughs. Yes, my son. I mean, it was very sad, of course.
Very sad indeed.
How could you sell tickets to something that anybody can see, like from miles around?
Have you ever heard of the circus, my good friend?
That's kind of, yeah, that's rude. Yes.
All right, I'll be more direct. What's going on here, Father? Why can no one cast magic in your presence?
I do not know.
Insight check.
Sure, roll it.
Ugh, horrid, abysmal. 13.
I'm still going to grant you something with that. You've been surprisingly quiet for you, Casariel, when something is fishy. And you, I imagine, have just been looking at what is happening here while Carla and John have been doing their thing. And with the 13, you'll notice that as you're looking at him, he's just standing there in front of the altar. But there's something in the back of your mind that is telling you that he's standing there, but he isn't standing there. You know, if you look at a road in like a desert or something that like the sun is shining on, you got that, like that ripple in the air, kind of. You get the feeling you saw that with him, just minimally, but
Like-
it must be your mind playing tricks on you.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like a hologram?
Almost, yeah, you'd think so.
Okay.
Oof.
So I'm going to try to walk up and place my hand upon his shoulder.
All right. As you move forward, and you place a hand on his shoulder, he steps back, but he'll be doing that just too late. And you reach right through him. And as he does, so simple, isn't it? And he just disappears. As he does, the final moments before he disappears, you notice his eyes turned red briefly, and you're standing in an empty church.
Something tells me he heard our plans.
Was he a vampire? Like, the whole time?
He was the vampire the whole time.
Is that why his son was a vampire?
I think he's dead,
I'm gonna-
John. I think that was Strahd pretending to be him.
What do you think happened to the real priest?
Carla will start looking around the church to see if she can find the body.
Sure. What's your passive investigation? Because that's like really high.
20.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to remember that basically you're just like, you just roll a natural 20 just by existing. Oh, if you ever get out of Barovia, you're gonna have a stunning career in anything private eye-ish. Like, it's just saying, just putting it out there.
I think
Yeah,
she's
great
going to
opportunity.
retire like Sherlock Holmes and go take care of bees. That's what she's going to do.
Detective
After.
Carla.
Oh, you're gonna throw away such a great honed quality. Oh God. Okay, let's focus on Barovia first.
Yep.
As you look about I imagine just the church proper, right? Like everything, like also the separate rooms and whatnot, because there's a couple
the
of separate rooms
basement.
other than the. Right. As you look around, you will notice indeed distinctly that the priest is gone. Father Donovich occupied at least a bedroom and a study, and you notice that you look around. When you look around, that there hasn't been a sign of anything alive in here, at least for some time. The bed looks slept in, but it looks like it's been a while. And the desk itself looks like it hasn't been touched in time. So there's a layer of thick dust here. You don't find any signs of the priest himself, but the last time he might have been here must have been a long time ago. I'd assess you can place that at around a couple of months ago. Maybe when you guys were here first.
Mm-hmm. Bastard. Fucking bitch, man. And oh, gosh. Okay, and she's going to like kick some furniture over and come back out, and she's going to stomp over, and she's going to be like, the entire time, playing us like a fiddle. Let's get out of here.
You think he meant to slip up and say her name?
Recalling that moment, I have a passive insight of 15. Does that help me maybe figure out if that was a purposeful slip up or clearly like, are you paying attention?
That is hard to pin on someone.
Yeah.
I don't think you can point that out. You will,
That's right.
however, if you're trying to recall all of that and what you've seen of the father so far, you will recall one minor detail. The first time you were here, tell me what you did here. You sang some songs, and then what?
Buried a burgermeister.
Exactly. So he was with you in the churchyard to bury the burgermeister when someone visited you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Rahadin.
Yeah.
And someone else.
But it's interesting that he killed him off the bat after meeting us.
Wait, did I miss something? Did we actually find his corpse?
No.
Okay.
No. Carla will kind of lead them out towards the graveyard to see if there's anything around there and kind of investigate the Burgermeister's grave and that sort of thing.
The Burgermaster's grave looks untouched in the quite literal sense, because the Burgermaster was given up to the earth in a stone tomb, and the lid was removed to the side to place his body there. As you come there, you notice that the lid itself is still where it was. It's still removed. And as you look into the tomb, you notice the desiccated corpse of the late Burgermeister. The body is still here, but nobody ever bothered to seal the tomb off.
Time. Funny. It's eerie, isn't it? It's weird that he immediately killed him off. We immediately started doing things differently once we arrived. I think that's what that tells us. And she'll kind of start, kicking dirt into the grave to try and bury some of it up.
Is there a shovel around?
Sure.
All right, John will join her and just try to at least cover the body.
Right. So this is like a stone sarcophagus that is standing on the earth, right? So you're shoveling dirt into a sarcophagus.
Oh, we thought it was demo. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool.
Sorry,
Yeah.
watching from behind,
I thought he was in the ground.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, different
getting
cultures, different
weird.
approaches, but
I gotta
it's
get
cool.
him out of here.
Okay,
I gotta get him out of here. He is losing it.
I'm losing it.
Okay.
As a quick aside, are we still looking at the inn in terms of battle map?
Yeah, I still have the
Okay.
battle map up on the inn. Yeah.
Just making sure, because I didn't know if we had moved on, and I was like all good. So
I thought it was a beautiful theater of the mind moment.
I'm
It
loving it.
was.
I'm loving it. I just wanted to make
loved
sure
it.
that I wasn't messing. No, this is great. Cool. So it is Is the stone slab? John's gonna push it a little bit. Is it heavy enough that he can pick up, or light enough that he can pick up?
Not to pick up, but it is slidable in place. Like so, it's heavy, but you can slide it back into place.
Okay. I think he should at least become interred, and keep him from being exposed to the elements. It's just not right.
The Burgermeister, right? Sorry, did I miss that? That's who is in this. Okay.
The late
Well,
Burgermeister, so
we
the
don't know
father
where
of
the priest
Irina,
is, though.
and yes,
Father of Ismark and Irina.
correct.
Okay. While they're doing that,
Let me quick. The father of Ismark, yes.
As far as we knew, Irina was the brother or the sister of Ismark, correct?
Absolutely.
Right. Do we know who both of? Wait, was there any indication that he wasn't her father?
No.
So the father of Ismark and Irina.
Sure.
Yep. As far as we know.
So
I
what
was
were you
gonna
saying,
look around
Sarah?
for, like, are there any like mice or like creatures that kind of look like they live around here?
Not blatantly obvious. I mean, you probably see the odd field mice or field mouse or rat scurrying about because, well, it's a graveyard. But no like vast swaths of them. No.
Okay. Yeah, Casariel is going to walk up to like, if she sees a few mice, she's going to study them for a sec, right? And then the one that looks the most like he knows what's up,
Mm-hmm.
she's going to
Distort
speak
little.
to it
Yeah.
using magic.
I mean, I have a couple of questions for this, but I wanted you to finish your sentence. I just want
Yeah.
to know how you pinpoint which one knows
What's up?
the
Yeah,
most.
because you
what's up.
know,
Just
some mice are like off eating
Somebody said,
cheese. Okay, if there are three mice and they remind me, one reminds me of John, one reminds me of Casariel, and one reminds me of Carla, I'm gonna go for the one that reminds me of Carla.
one mouse is circling and trying to
you.
bite its own tail.
That's John.
sure.
One
One is-
mouse is fighting with another mouse
That's you.
for no reason. Correct. The
Yeah.
other mouse is like watching what's going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I just picked up
Smelling the air.
one
and-
mouse.
yeah.
One mouse had picked up a very, very tiny piece of glass and is like trying to like enlarge something that he's looking at. That's Carla right there.
But it's
Yes,
also
okay.
it knows that we're here. You know what I mean? It's not oblivious. That mouse, that's the mouse that Casariel will cast Speak with Animals.
Sure, I'll humor that.
The great mouse detective.
Okay, squeak. I mean, hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Wow, that's weird. Do you have any cheese?
Super weird. I can get you some cheese, but first I have a question for you. It's a very important question.
Okay.
There was a priest here. Do you know the priest I'm speaking of? He's wearing a robe. I describe him.
Oh, yeah. Big man.
Yes.
Big man. Yes.
Where is
Yes.
he?
Lived here.
The past tense. Where did he go?
He lived here. Yes.
Yeah.
Lived here for a long time. Did a lot of
Yep.
singing. Not good at it.
Mhm. No. Right.
Okay.
And then
He always writing, always singing. Then
Mhm.
one day he had visitor.
Mhm.
Had visitor from long, lanky man. Yes. Black clothing.
Okay. Mhm.
And they talked.
Pointy teeth?
I have pointy teeth, yes, and he shows us his bird.
They're
words.
lovely. They're really lovely. Sorry to interrupt
Yes.
you.
Lanky man took big man with him.
Hmm.
He hasn't been back on extended vacation.
Oh. Anything weird happened here since that happened, or?
Yes. Yes. There's a lot of weird people with sort of green glow walking from there to
Mhm.
far away every day. Yes, yes.
From here.
Yes, from like and he just like looks around at like various graveyards, like grave
Right.
sites. From
Right.
here, yes.
Right. Well, okay, so as far as optics are concerned, you're going to pan out from watching Casariel speaking to this rat, and I imagine John and Carla are just watching Casariel go, right, yep. And this
All
rat's
we
like,
hear is squeak, 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 and
No,
squeakers.
exactly.
Squeaky.
Like I want to amend that. What they hear is squeak, 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 beep,
Squeaker.
squeak. That's what they hear.
Squeak, squeak,
This is
squeak,
good stuff.
squeakers.
This is
squeaking.
she's
Look
able
over
to be
her
nice
shoulder
and-
and be like, okay, no, that's great. No, this is great. This is great. Do you have any cheese?
I think she's
Either of
good.
you?
Me?
I think she's going.
Surely you've got something.
Do we have any cheese?
We've got some bread. Some bread. Got some bread.
I can get some cheese.
You can?
I don't know if I can.
h-
Here's,
how
she'll give you some bread, some breadcrumbs.
How far away is the market?
There is a shop in the middle of the town, if you might remember, the provisioning store that you might want to try.
Oh.
It's not too far. That's like a 2-minute walk.
Sean's gonna ask for a couple gold pieces back and then go for a walk. In return
Do we
for-
have any rations on us? I feel like we've probably got some rations on us.
Yeah, we
I'm the
picked up some
DM
in the
that is
general
kind of
store.
kind. Yeah, I'm usually kind of
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
going with rations, but I haven't really been keeping track. So sure, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so
That
I'm
makes
just
sense
gonna
that we would.
give like offered a ration, a whole ration, which would be a lot for.
Wow, that's like a bit of dried fruit, some bread, like a maybe like
Nuts.
a biscuit or something. Nuts. Yeah.
Turkey.
Yeah.
It's a
Don't
feast.
you like those things?
I mean, I like cheese more, but it's very kind. Oh, for me?
Yes, for you, for helping me. Thank you.
Oh, I want to help you a lot more. I can tell
Well,
you a lot
you-
more.
You can?
Yes. Yes, yes. For more rations, I can tell you a lot more. Yes.
Tariel! And in her head, she'll hear, he still has control of the animals. With the green gem, he still has control of the animals. Be careful.
God
I'm
damn.
gonna look at that mouse. Does this mouse have red eyes?
No, not at all.
I'm gonna cast detect evil and good on it.
This mouse is perfectly neutral. What else did you expect?
Doesn't mean he can't be a rat on the inside. Snitch.
All right.
Headcanon.
Yes. So there you are. Thank you. I don't need any more help now, but if I do, I will let you know. Thank you
Wonderful.
very much.
What's the mouse's name?
Yes.
What?
Squiggles.
I was gonna say it has to
I
be
didn't ask
Basil.
the mouse's name. Mouse, the name? Do you want me to? That's a weird question.
Is his name Basil?
Oh, humor you. One more thing. What's your name?
You know what? This is going to be a rare occasion, but I'm going to look over at chat. The first name I see up popping up in chat, that's the mouse's name. Please be gentle.
Please, it's got to be Basil because Basil's the great mouse detective. Oh,
Someone says
Very
something
rare
funny.
occasion, but I think this is freaking funny. So let's just go with the first name that pops up in chat. So
Y'all
you see
talk
the
so
mouse
much
look-
bullshit in there. Get in there.
pumpkin. Oh my god.
My name is Pumpkin. Pumpkin, named after my great aunt, who died by eating a lot of pumpkin.
It's morbid. I like it. Nice to meet you, Pumpkin. I'm Casariel. This is Carla and John.
Weakers.
Okay.
Okay.
Well-
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to turn back around and I'm going to say, yes. So, oh shit, now I've forgotten what they've said. Oh, Strahd, presumably, or Rahadin, a bit fuzzy, came and took the priest. Took him and he has not been back since. So,
Maybe for vacation. Maybe there's another church. I mean, he might have restored that cathedral that John was complaining about in Ravenloft, and he might be holding ceremonies there. We don't know. Let's skedaddle. Let's skedaddle.
oh. Thing. I can hollow this ground. I don't think we want to do that now. But it
Not
would put
now.
the souls here at rest, like John was talking about before.
Oh, that's a very good point, by the way. You guys did detect good and evil, right?
Yeah.
Wait, pumpkin? Is this pumpkin?
Did detect good and evil
No,
and
this is,
divine
this
sense.
is DM.
Okay. One
Yeah,
sec.
so that also tells you if a place has been affected by the hallowed ground.
Consecrated or defiled ground. Yeah.
Yes, so this ground is hallowed. It already is.
Oh.
Because you mentioned it, like, yes, you will know this because yes, it is. It's a church.
Oh. But I can make it so that things that are dead here don't turn undead.
That's what
Kite.
hallowed ground does. One of the things.
I think
We kind of want them to stay kind of active for the moment while we're still asking
Yes.
questions as an option.
Absolutely.
Bart taught me how to do certain ceremonies as well, and I think, as far as I can tell with divine, my sense, this place has been already affected by a ceremony. I think.
Do you think it was St. Andrew that cast that upon them? That they could try to... Wait. If this is hallowed ground, then the act of them rising cannot be an evil thing. It must be...
There were far more of them in that group than could ever have been buried here.
Mm-hmm. And some of them were adventurers, and I don't think they give adventurers kind fates here.
But undead can't enter hallowed ground.
So they might not be undead. There might be something different.
Right. Maybe the abbot will know.
Maybe.
Maybe the abbot will know.
Mm.
I'm still worried about dealing with. We were always
approaching with a good attitude, hopefully. Sorry, go on, Ed.
No, you're fine. It's just we were always taught that those of a celestial nature were purely for the good and benefit of the world and others. And what we saw that
No.
one doing,
No, John, that's wrong. That's not right. No, there are celestials that are quite evil.
Well,
Unfortunately.
whatever the case, I think we ought to be careful about around this one.
Yes, we're just hoping to get information from him, not trying to ally with him. He seems to be concerned with his one goal. I'm hoping that we might be able to just get what we can information-wise. It's not allying, just a resource.
Couldn't we just tell him the truth? That he does not want just one bride, so it will never be enough, even if he has Tatiana. Even if he has 10 Tatianas, it will never be enough.
I think
He does have Tatiana.
we can try reasoning with him after we get what we need. Then we can go for that. The creatures don't work with logic here. I don't know if you've noticed. And he seemed quite adamant on his goal, even when we expressed that it was probably not going to be the right idea. So, you know. At least he's not in direct allyship with, you know. And she'll glare up at the castle, sort of looming in the distance.
I thought he was in allyship with him.
He's trying to fix him in some way, which suggests that it's not like a, you know, tight bond, you know.
Well,
We'll see. We'll get what we can out of him.
It will be good
So I
to speak
imagine,
to some of these people now that we know what we know.
I imagine you guys are getting ready to leave Barovia. Where do you guys want to go?
Want to go 1 mile away from Raven.
At least 1 mile away, or just within a mile?
Yeah.
is the
Just-
camp
Just
on the
within
lake?
1 mile.
Is the camp on the lake within 1 mile? Does it seem to be, at least from our knowledge?
Yes.
So we could.
Where you
It's a good
met
place.
me first.
Okay.
Let's
with that
go to
then,
her
Carla.
first.
Yeah. Carla will turn into a giant eagle and take them there.
Okay, we're gonna do the thing that Lord of the Rings should have done all the time. I know. I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
Don't. No,
Nope.
no. Let's get into that.
We were gonna walk past a dig site, a gallows.
My mom would have
and-
seen them coming. Had to be hobbits.
All right. You fly all that way through a bit of rain and a subtle patch of mist, and you touch ground near the encampment that is close to the lake. The encampment still seems relatively unchanged. There's a couple of wagons that are around a campfire that is going even during the day, because it's daytime right now. There's a couple of tents here and there. It seems like they haven't moved position from the last time you visited. There is also a very large tent still there, place where you met Madame Eve. What do you do?
And become halfling again.
Okay.
Okay. Go talk to her. What are we asking?
What are we asking? Well, why don't we... She can foresee the future, can she not?
We
So
asked
why
her
don't we
why
let
she's
her
a
do the
demon.
talking? What?
Did we ask her why she's a demon?
Oh.
Maybe not a leading question. But we'll keep it back. Circle around to it if we get the opportunity, if it comes up naturally in conversation. I think...
Yes.
Sorry, that threw me. Okay. I want to ask about the spirits. We'll ask her to see the future. Maybe we can ask her about her passage in and out, because John has a theory about maybe releasing Tatiana's soul.
Yes, and then after all your pleasantries, I'll ask her who she really is.
Well, you two can do the whole ooh and try and figure out what vibes you get. You know?
I don't do the woo woo thing. Never mind. I was
Wait,
like,
that was
you're-
faster than I thought it would be.
You
To
do
be
the
honest,
spirits.
I think it was getting smarter.
I think
Really?
he is. He's using it a lot more as well, if you've noticed.
I have noticed that. So proud of you. They grow up so fast.
Not just a pretty girl anymore.
Right. I'll lead the entourage then, I suppose, and Carla will take the head and march off towards the camp with like smiles and just, excitement.
Sure. Various Rustani are sitting around the camp doing their daily chores. There's a couple just gathering some firewood probably for the evening. Some people are just moving goods here and there. Some barrels being moved. There's a couple of people just sitting around the campfire. There's a single one like plucking away at some strings. Not particularly good, but music is music. As you come closer, they regard you as in they notice that you're visiting, but nothing more. They just nod at you. Just not a sign of recognition, nor a sign that you shouldn't be here. It's neutral.
When we get
Wait. Sorry, what?
when we get to a point that is within range of the tent, and I can see to the into the tent, John's gonna divine sense again and just see what's up here.
Sure. Just before you do, as you get closer to the inner circle of the where the fire is going, a single rather large man stands up and looks at you, and he says, "Friends, good to see you again. What are you doing?" And you guys have spoken to this gentleman before. He is the goods peddler of this encampment. His name is Petra.
Did I save the champagne? Did I do that?
I don't know. Have you been keeping track of that?
I know
think
we haven't
you
used
traded
it.
the champagne. Oh, you
I
traded,
traded it for something. Yeah, I
You
traded
did.
it for something.
It was something
important.
good, but you did trade it for something important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I traded it for
was it the horses at
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was the horses.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
it was worth it. We got a really nice horse out of it. Okay, I'll be like, oh, hello. Terrible news. Did you hear about the winery? Did you hear about it?
Yes, I have heard about the winery. The people that have been living there have been mysteriously missing. I hope
Murdered.
that someone else will
Murdered, yes, in cold blood by the Burgermeister of Voloki. Awful business, really.
I hope that someone else will take over, or the wine will dry up in Voloki, in Barovia.
More bad news. Already kind of has, but I do have a bottle of Dragon Crush number 3.
That is a rare vintage. It's not exactly the champagne bottle that I asked for, but I might be interested in it. Can I see it?
I know. I went looking, could not find it. I think someone got out of there and ran as quickly as possible, and I hand over the.
I pinched
Dragon
John
Crush
before you
number
can say anything.
I'm sorry, I
think
wasn't
John's
paying
paying attention
attention.
to
What's happening?
Nothing.
All right, so you hand over the bottle of Red Dragon Crush number 3, which is a more luxurious version of Red Dragon Crush number 2. He won't recognize that, but it is definitely not a bottle of Champagne de la Storm, which is what he asked for.
You do well, you know.
He will.
we got our
He will
horses
be looking
sorted.
over the bottle. Try to persuade him. Feel free to roll a persuasion check, but also feel free to give it your best shot.
Well, you know, it's not the champagne, so I'm absolutely not expecting the original deal to hold at all. I mean, horses are very valuable creatures. I wouldn't expect you to give them up for, you know, something as simple as a Dragon Crush. But, you know, is there anything interesting you might take for this? You know, anything interesting we could do a little bit of trading for? Obviously not that ring I gave you, something else.
It is a good bottle. Not as good as
it's one of
Champagne de la Storm,
few.
but
One of the few
There's
Roll your
that
something
persuasion
else.
yes.
We do seem to have acquired certain items while we were here that we're not using particularly. So why don't you tell us what you have, and we'll tell you what we have. After that. And she realizes she's talking. She shouldn't be. She steps back and lets Carla keep talking.
anything interesting, you know, tradesman.
You should be happy we brought you anything.
John,
Now with you,
John, there's a gorgeous lake over there. I think you should go
John.
look at it. It might be holy water still. Could you
Will
go
you dance
investigate
with
if
me?
that's
This
holy
lake was
water?
never holy water. He
I'm gonna
walks
pull
away.
him and make him go dance to the jam. You know, whatever.
As she pulls him away,
Music.
I'll like loop my arm with the giant man, and I'll be like, "It is so hard to do any amount of business when you've got your security being chatty." But let's discuss anything interesting. Again, I understand the original offer cannot stand, but still a valuable item.
please follow me. And he does like a little throw of his cape as he turns around, and he walks over to one of the wagons, the one that looks the most decorated, and this is bordering tacky, right? It's gold paint on it and whatnot. It's one of those screaming buy everything that I got kind of wagons. It's terrible. And at the side, he pulls a little rope that is hanging there, and as he does, there's a little piece of cloth that rolls out to provide some shade for the sun that isn't there. The doors flip open, and for a second, you notice that 2 sparks are going off near 2 candles, and 2 candles light up as if there's some light being provided to show off his various wares. And he points at the collection of junk that he has inside. He says, please, browse at your leisure. Perhaps we can come to an agreement.
Describing it as junk. Sorry.
But that is junk.
It looks like it. It's a to the untrained eye, it looks like a complete collection of junk that he probably just found here and there. Amongst the items, there are just bits and pieces that no one would be interested in, but there are a couple of things that you might want to trade up for. There are a couple of bottles of Alchemist's Fire that you recognize. There is an arrow which has a +1 stat on it, which would be great if any one of you would want to use that on a bow. It's just one, though. There is a medallion that looks like a little skull with little gemstones in its face, and it looks magical. There is also a set of pipes, musical instrument, that also has a vague magical property to it. There's a ring with a beautiful purple gemstone in it, which has to be magical. And finally, there are a couple of slippers that have on the soles themselves a sort of like a spider pattern embroidered on it.
Climb. Carla's going to like say, "Can I touch hands there? You can see. Can I have a look? Have a feel?"
Yes, yes. So if you break it, you buy it.
Smart man, smart man. I'm going to pick up one of the slippers and cast Identify.
Cool. You totally can. And these are indeed magical slippers. They're called the Slippers of Spider Climbing. And I don't think I need to tell you what it does, but if you want to, I can, of course.
Oh, I'm going vertical.
So, yes, they are slippers, and they literally look like beach slippers. They're like purple and bluish hue, right? They look absolutely tacky. But yes, if you wear these, they're light shoes, and they will allow you to use your climbing speed that you then obtain through these slippers. Which is akin to your walking speed. So your walking speed becomes also a climbing speed if you so wish.
And I'll like take them and I'll like hold them and be like, they kind of match the purple, don't they? They kind of do. I'm kind of obsessed.
Oh, they actually work with your armor, yes.
Yeah. I think they work. So, do you think about these as a little trade?
Peculiar. Expensive item. Got it through a estate sale, had to put down a lot of money. Comes with a very hefty price tag. What do you have?
What's that price tag? Well, give me a monetary one and we'll see if we can add some items to sweeten the deal.
There's not a lot of like magical items like these in the world. Let's start at say 1,200.
Okay, she's going to open up the bag of holding and start pulling things out. Okay, I see 1,200. One of the last few bottles of wine. Bring it down. Bring it down a bit,
Continue.
right? And I have... What do I have? I've got a bunch of shit. I have this
The
cloak.
Mace of Terror.
I do have the Mace of Terror. Yeah. I'll put...
This water's not holy at all.
Yeah, I will... Actually, I think I'm going to pull out the Staff of Withering. The one that I
Okay.
have. Because we've got two. And I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to be like, okay, so this is a rare sort of like staff item. And at the end of it, there's like this like golden hand almost. I'm going by the picture. Like, so this can pack a real punch.
Can
with
I see
just
it
a
for
single
second?
touch? Absolutely, and I'll hand it to him.
And as he takes it, he just takes it, and you see a very subtle glow coming from his hand for a second. He's like, ah, yes, Staff of Withering. Interesting. I'd be in the market for that.
Be in the market to bring down the price, but for the slippers. With it.
The Mace of Terror, the Staff of Withering, and a bottle of wine. And then it's a deal.
You've got it, and I'll hand it over.
Wonderful. You have yourself a pair of slippers of spider climbing.
Now I'll turn my attention.
Such a
To the
cool item, by the way.
I'm going a fucking vertical halfling. Let's be real here. This is going to be so fun.
Beware, the halfling has gone vertical. Beware, the halfling has gone vertical.
Carla shopping spree.
Yeah, this is my favorite. I cannot describe to you. This is why I get so much money in D&D. This is my favorite thing. And I'll turn my attention to the skull-looking weird thing, and I'll do a little identify on it.
The pendant
again.
over there. Yes.
The pendant, yes.
The pendant is indeed magical. The pendant itself is a medallion of thoughts. It has 3 charges. And while you're wearing it, you can spend 1 charge of it to use detect thoughts. And the medallion regains those at dawn.
Oh, how much for this? I've got a cloak of protection. Please.
Very expensive. Got it off an estate sale. It's very tricky to sell. That there's not a lot of people that have the appropriate amount of money.
500 gold and a cloak of protection.
600. and the cloak.
You're a hard bargainer. A hard bargainer. I mean, the cloak of protection is very important.
Yes, but it has seen some use. You must have been wearing it. There's some dirt on it.
500, and she'll try to persuade him. 500 in the cloak of protection.
Persuade him through just trying to persuade him, or are you using magic?
Being like, no, I'm going to persuade him by my natural charm and charisma. Come on, we've already made another deal. You've got 3 other items. You've got this. Like, come on, for a friend, family discount.
All right, persuasion
Okay,
check.
excellent. Okay. That's a 27.
I should have known. They're freaking halfling. All right. You got a deal. 500 and the cloak of protection. Wonderful. Here's your medallion. Enjoy. You can add to yourself a medallion of thoughts.
Oh, incredible. This is all for me. None of this is for you. I'm so sorry.
Because I was like dancing with John. So what do you think she's getting for us? You think she's asking for us too, right?
She's probably just getting horses again. We don't need any more horses. We already have horses. We got
Yeah,
just
but you don't
Dave.
think she would actually
Speaking
shop
of-
and not figure out if we needed something, right? She wouldn't just stop at 2
I mean-
things that she loved and then.
How much money do we even
No.
have? Like 20 gold
I know,
pieces?
it's true. Right.
Hey, speaking of
That's
those
the point.
horses, by the way, I've been meaning to ask, so thank you for reminding me. Where are your horses at the moment?
Esmeralda
they're
took
with
them back.
Esmeralda
Yeah.
back to our mansion.
Just
As
wanted
far
to
as
make
we
sure.
know.
Okay.
Assuming Esmeralda didn't be stupid with them.
Cool.
If Watson is hurt, I will be very upset. Okay, last identify of the day, using up most of my first level spell slots. I don't care, I'm very excited about this. I'm going to do that on the pipes.
You probably could have asked him.
Okay. I mean, I
Don't trust her to tell the truth.
Trust no one.
Good point. Good point.
That's Carl's motto.
All right. So the pipes themselves are indeed magical in nature. Yes. The pipes
Shocking.
are something that you might recognize. They're called pipes of haunting. How
I already have
fitting.
those.
Yes, you do. So I can tell you what they do, but you already do have them. If you play them and you use a DC 15 performance check while you're playing on it, they create an eerie spellbinding tune, and those within 30 feet who hear the tune must succeed on a 13 wisdom saving throw, or become frightened of you for 4 rounds.
All right, yeah.
And there's a couple of checks and
okay.
balances
I can just
on
hear-
like, who is or isn't affected.
Oh God, run!
Put this down. Yes. I'm okay. All right. How much for these alchemist flasks?
The alchemist flasks aren't that important. They come relatively cheaply. They're one use, let's say 50 gold each.
How many are there?
3.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll hand him 150 gold.
Wonderful.
I'll
You
take
have 3
those.
bottles. You have 3 Molotov cocktails. Because we all know what it is.
I hope she's at least buying us some rations. We gave our last one to that rat.
We didn't do not bring rations into this.
That rat's name is Pumpkin. Thank you very much.
Pumpkin the detective.
Well,
Gee,
listen, if the priest's bones were there, I would have wanted to try to speak with Dead. Now we don't have to worry about that. Sort of.
John was just about to say that's really creepy, but then he realizes all the stuff he's been doing, so. You have
All
to do
right,
what you
so
have to
yeah,
do.
she's done after that. She's like, oh, this has been just wonderful. It is so good to meet someone who can do a little bit of business around here. Enjoy the wine, enjoy the items. Hope they give good use to you in the future, or whoever you're going to sell them to. Now, is Madame Eve around?
Yes. She has been on a small getaway for a few days, which is rare. But she's back, and she's in her tent. Yes. Feel free.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Petra.
Mine's Carla. Sorry?
Petra.
Petra. I'm Carla. Good to meet you. John
good to meet you,
Casario! John Casario, are you done dancing?
Hey, John's
Business to do, you two. I'm feeling very unprotected by my security right now.
none of that water was holy. That entire lake is just regular at best.
What?
And the moment has passed. Damn it.
You just want to say the slippers.
I repeat, the halfling has gone vertical.
I was just about to say the slippers look like Crocs. Carla's wearing Crocs canonically now. This is
They look
so
absolutely. The little picture in D&D Beyond is absolutely atrocious. Like it's, you should not be happy wearing those. But hey,
So, Casaro's just looking at the shoes. What did you get?
I got climbing shoes. Just get excited. And I also got an amulet that can hear thoughts, but I don't have to expend a spell slot for it, or cast a spell in any way. I can do it. It's cool. The rest of the stuff was absolute garbage, but I did get you guys Molotov cocktails, and I'm going to hand each of them an alchemist's flask.
Who's Molotov? Wait, are these alcoholic?
Don't drink that. That when you throw it,
Casaro
fire
puts your hand
happens.
on top of it, yeah, and
So-
brings it down from her lips.
That was a
But
cocktail.
she is
a flask.
perfectly
Yeah, a
fine
flask
with
with
that trait.
alchemist fire. A flask with alchemist fire is like a vile concoction of a lot of things. Alcohol is definitely one of them. It's probably more in the rubbing alcohol department, so you shouldn't drink it. But
99% IPA.
man, it's D&D, so nothing is stopping you from doing so. Maybe except for your party members.
She said it was a cocktail, so I'm not. I mean, I'm not.
I
about
put
to
my
drink
hand on
it.
top of it and just lower it down. Casaro is way stoked by this gift. Yes. Fuck yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Enjoy. Righty.
Cool.
Yeah. Honestly, great deals for it as well. Wow, so yeah, let's go talk to Eva. Apparently she was on a bit of a retreat recently and then came back.
Really?
So that's it
Interesting.
aligns with the timeline we have, but who knows?
So this is probably not her.
It might not be. We're not sure.
Oh, I mean, if she was away for the time that she was over in the place that we were, then came back, it might just be her. I can check. So, are we in range of the tent within 60 feet?
Yes.
All right. And he's going to move so that he can actually see into the tent and divine sense.
You notice that there might be a fiend in there.
It's her.
Good to know.
And nothing else from the area around? None of the other Vistani or...
No, you get like a mixed bag of like good and evil there, but nothing
Well,
else.
so I can only detect undead, fiends, and celestials, so...
Fair enough. Nothing of that.
And the water is definitely not holy, Carlo.
No.
All right, we will reach the front of the tent and go, "Excuse me, may we enter?"
But of course. Welcome in. And as you move into the tent, we're going to take our break. That was fun. Hello, everybody. Good to see you after our break. For those of you that joined us on Discord, thank you so much for that. It's always fun to mingle with you. So, yeah, where did we leave off? You guys ended up in an inn in the village of Barovia. And just before your actual rest, you visited the procession that comes from the church graveyard. And you learned something interesting from that there's also adventurers and whatnot in there, all dead, of course. You talked with them briefly. After that, you went back, you visited the church to see if Father Donovich had any more news on you, and you learned very quickly that Father Donovich, at that point, wasn't Father Donovich, but rather an image of Father Donovich, who laughed at your misfortune as you finally found out that it wasn't Father Donovich at all that you had been talking to at that moment. You closed up the sarcophagus of the late Burgermeister, which was due a couple of weeks. And then you decided to be off to the little camp near the Tsur pool where Madame Eve and her Vistani were camping. As you arrived, you had a little moment of trading with Petra, the goods peddler from that particular group. And Carla had a shopping spree, which I think put you almost in the reds at this point.
Fine. I'm fine. Do not worry.
Yeah, no. You got a couple of cool stuff, cool things from that. You got a pair of slippers that allow you to get a climbing speed. You got a couple of bottles of alchemist fire, known as D&D's Molotovs, of course. You got one more. Oh, you got the medallion of thoughts. Yes, that'll allow you to do detect thoughts 3 times per day. So there's that. And then you walked over to Madame Eve's hut, tent, and you moved the flap aside to talk to her, and she happily invited you in. That's where we're gonna start off again. So, as you move away the flap and step into her tent, she is sitting there as she had always been sitting. On the other side of the table, an old, haggard-looking lady grins at you with a creepy face as she says, "It is good to see you again. Please, come in."
Madam Eva.
I'm going to stand back a little bit and just eye her curiously.
I come in and I just sit as close to her as I possibly can.
Yes. Yes, please, sit. I imagine we have much to discuss.
But are we free to speak? And she'll kind of look up, kind of in a way of like, I think he's listening. Can you hear in here?
You never know when he is watching, but in here, you should be fine.
Insight. I'm going to look to see if I'm getting any of the same feelings that I got from the priest. I'm trying to assess to see if there's any strahdiness about her.
Sure.
Alright, I'll roll it. 11.
As always with this woman, as you have had the first few times you've met her, there's this eerie sort of feeling there's something off about her that women that tell fortunes sort of have. She still has that, very much so.
And I'll kind of look at like Casariel just in like a motion of like keep an eye on her while we talk. So, we've been all over the land chasing that fortune you gave us. I think we've gotten quite a few of it completed.
I think so too. I see the sword at the side of your male compatriot. You found the medallion, have you not? Yes. Yes, the medallion is in your hands as well. You've learned of the Book of Strahd. You've read it. You've learned of an ally. You've spoken to her. Oh, you've been busy.
We have.
And then, of course, the whole business with me and my sisters.
Yes. Well, today our questions are leaning a little bit differently. Maybe something you can answer, maybe not. There's a ghostly march that happens on the castle every single night. What stops them from entering it? Do you know?
The ghosts that march on the castle are not simply stopped. They are not allowed to continue. There is no way for them to enter the castle, therefore they cannot. Quite dreary. Caught in an endless spiral.
Surely there has to be a way. What if we portaled them in? What if, we created a spiritual bridge to let them enter? Or is it that they don't have permissions to?
I am not sure if I can give you the right answer to that, but if something would be strong enough to empower those, it would have been something which instills hope. A beacon of hope. That is what they might need. I do not foresee how you would create that.
Can be created. Other questions. Do you have fortune for us at this point? Has our fortune shifted? Are the cards saying anything different?
You are still well on your way with the tasks that are laid out before you. You have learned the terrible truth of this land. You have learned of the Fanes. You, and she looks at you specifically, Carla, have learned what must be done. Is that not enough fortune for you? Do you require more? Is your thirst for knowledge still not quenched?
I think it might be an endless well, but this has been what we've learned so far has instilled hope, at least, which is more important than knowledge. But if you had anything else, we would greatly take it in terms of understanding. Clue we're missing.
You have procured the blue gem of my sister, the water fane. You have procured my red gem, yet the green gem still stays a mystery. It seems that he has it, does he not?
Does. We're trying to get it back. If
And
we
you
can.
should.
Can you sense it? Do you know where exactly it is, or is it beyond you when it's in his clutches?
The gem is close to him, but not with him. Yes, the castle is where you should seek it. But I'm afraid I cannot offer you more help than that.
Understandable. Just kind of look to Xariel and John for any other questions they might have.
John will stalk forward. Why are you here? You know what I mean. Why are you and others like you in this land?
This land needs protection. A position of power must always be filled. Barovia, before it was named Barovia, was governed by 3 veins, one for nature, one for the mountains, one for water. That balance has been there since the dawn of time for this land. When Strahd came about and disrupted this balance through the powers that he utilized, the tension in the balance had to be restored. But such a balance is not easily restored, with the powers vying against each other between what has been and what's tried to overtake it.
And when Argynvost was here, what of your power balance then?
Argynvost meant no harm. There was harmony. There was peace.
And if I speak with the revenants in Argynvostholt and ask them of the Fanes. What will they tell me?
They will tell you a similar story.
When I am near you, I sense nothing but evil, now that I know what you are.
And what am I in your eyes, John Varenthal?
You're a fiend. Someone who would pull the strings of those around them. Someone who would make deals and conjure and use. I've seen you. I've seen the likes of you in the pits of Vallaki. What's to stop you from stepping in? As you say, there always needs to be a place of power. If we do your dirty work and remove the power that is, what's to stop you and your kind from stepping in?
Evil is a state of mind. It is a perception. Primal malevolence was and always has been one of the roots of nature as a counterbalance to good and holy. Yes, pure evil is exactly what it is, but it becomes interesting when you see what lies beneath the surface. A fiend, yes, I am, as are my sisters. You see, fiends are not inherently evil as you might think. We were born of evil. We were sent of evil. That does not make us evil. It makes us something. We have been put in place to keep balance. For no dark comes without lights, nor can there be light if there is no dark to contour it.
I think I understand. I learned in my travels with Kasariel and with my studies with Saloon. As the moon waxes and wanes, so too there must be balance. And if any threat to your power in this land were removed, what are your plans?
And as she says that, you notice that she pauses on the first letter there. My Strahd must be stopped. Strahd has thrown this balance haywire. And as long as he reigns, everyone suffers.
At that, Carla will message John and say, I think when she said that, she means he's listening in now. Be careful with your words, just in case we let something slip.
As he pauses when Carla's talking to him, you'll... What?
Her Strahd?
Come now, don't be coy.
She'll do the exact same to Kasariel afterwards. She's like, I think that's an indicator that Strahd is listening now. Careful with your words.
Carla, and he points to his forehead, he points to your forehead, and he points to Ava's forehead.
I don't think I can facilitate that, to be honest.
No,
Madame Eva raises her hand
her.
and says, I understand your insecurities. Allow me. And she raises up a hand and does a little twirl. And as she does, there's a very faint puff of purple smoke coming from her hand that permeates the air and goes all around you. And as it does, all three of you will notice something. The subtle sound of the occasional bird and cricket outside suddenly ceases. The gentle flapping of a bit of her tent pauses, and the flap that was moving is hanging still in the air.
John's hand reaches for the sword, but when he sees what happened, he sort of untenses.
Everything around you seems to have paused. And she looks at the three of you and she says, I have very little time. I cannot hold this for too long. There are secrets in this world that no one knows, that no one can know. But the three of you, you're so close. You're so close. It is in front of you. This can be stopped. You are the first that can stop this. But what I require is your biggest sacrifice that you have made so far. It is not your life. It is simply trust. Trust in me. And I will share what I know.
How would you like us to trust you?
I simply
does that
need
mean
a
to you?
promise
What's the promise?
that you will trust me.
I'll trust you. I can't promise for them, but I will promise for myself. I trust you.
She looks at John Casario.
Your sister trusts me. And I'll look at her with like meaningful eyes to say like, you know,
I'll trust you until I can't.
Casario.
I trust you as much as I trust anyone here.
I will accept that as a trust bond. And it seems even your familiar agrees with you. So,
John, you really shouldn't allow Stoker just to roam around. I've said that before.
love it.
Calm down,
She's a
boy. Calm down,
stray.
boy. He's grr and just gnawing on her tassels. Okay.
I know that Carla has shared with you too the knowledge that me and my sisters have. The way to remove Strahd permanently. Strahd has a phylactery in his castle. That phylactery needs to be destroyed if you were to remove Strahd from existence. Mind you, you will still need to defeat him, but at least you will be able to. In order to destroy his phylactery, you will need the 3 gems. Combined, they will form a shape. But all 3 of us do not recall the shape. Therefore, we cannot tell you what the phylactery is. Only when combined will that show itself to us and to you. Find the green gem. It is what we need to, and as she says that, she looks over at Casario, defeat my brother.
Your brother.
Sergey?
My other brother.
Ampere.
No. I am known by many names in this land. Madame Eva is the one that most people know me by. The Mountain Fane is another, a position that I took after the previous Mountain Fane had died. Make no mistake, I fulfill her duties without question. But before that, I had a different name. One that I despise with all of my being. My name was Ivanova VonZarovich. And yes, I am the sister of Lord Strahd.
Thinking back, is this the girl we've seen several times in this Book of Strahd?
You haven't
Oh,
seen
no.
her anywhere.
Okay. We saw someone who we thought might
It's
have
not like a
been.
duelist. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's
That's not her.
he's never mentioned you in the tome. What
Oh,
what happened?
My brother and I had had a falling out. When he conquered this land and decided to build a castle in homage to our parents, he invited everyone but me. He invited my mother, called the castle after her. My mother, Ravinova. The castle was named Ravenloft. My father, King Barov. The land was named Barovia. It was a sense of pride, duty, honor. He thought he could win the love of my parents by showing what an amazing conqueror he is. But my father had died previously, and my mother died en route to the castle, something Strahd could have never forgiven himself for. He had only invited Sergei, but after the death of my mother, a letter came. I could also join my brother. But it was false, and the letter was never his. For my brother might have hated me, but he would never see me killed. But I knew what was up. I traveled to these lands, but I mysteriously decided to vanish. Another accident on the road. I decided to remain here, keep an eye on my brother. When I learned of the atrocities that he creates, of the deals that he made, of the horrors of his leadership, I knew that I had to oppose him. But I couldn't. Not out in the open, especially not out in the open. Just by myself, I would not be strong enough. My brother had murdered one of the Fanes and stolen their gems. Through the cunning action of a few adventurers, these gems were liberated and quickly hidden in the land. I saw my chance, and I took the place of one of the Fanes. It rendered me relatively immortal, as far as you can be immortal. My predecessor died, after all, but at least it gives me longevity, and it gives me a chance to help others in their conquest. We've been looking far and wide for people who would have the capabilities to stop my brother. Yes. Yes, a question was made, an inquiry was sent out to get good, strong-minded adventurers to this land. I was the one who requested you to come and defeat my brother. My brother feels he is the one. My brother is here to test anyone that comes in this land. That is what he believes. For if one would be strong enough to take his place, then surely he would find rest. But my brother cannot commit to such a transfer of power. You cannot take his throne. His throne must be abolished and given back to the people. And only if you truly believe that that is your cause is when you can defeat him.
Fine. How did you change your nature and become... we can learn that another time, I suppose.
It is a fair question. In taking the position of a Thane, I was transformed into what I am now. It is a sacrifice I was willing to make.
I suppose. Bring balance to the land. Sometimes you have to make a sacrifice, I suppose. Is it still frozen outside?
It is, but you're noticing that her hand is trembling as she's still holding it up.
Does anyone else have anything to add? Doesn't look like we have time.
Carla's sitting there like stunned as she like takes in the information, but no.
I'm sorry that I doubted you. Still have my worries about everything going on in this place. But that sounds like a sacrifice, a heavy one that you had to make.
If we do this, will you let people leave and come freely from Barovia once again?
That is not up to me. So if anyone wants to leave, they can, I think. I do not hold such power, such dominion over people. The Thanes never have. We don't hold dominion. We simply lead nature, the mountains and the water. Nothing more.
Where does the mist come from?
A foul byproduct of the deal that my brother made with Vampire. It is a magic that he has gotten through that deal, and that after years of careful studying magic, he has learned to hone, shape, and use. Make no mistake, the mist is Strahd.
Well, I guess we know what we need to do now.
Yes, we do.
Well, thank you for clearing some things up.
Her hand is trembling even more, and she lowers it, and she says, "That's the best I can do." And as she lowers her hands, the tent starts flapping again. Bird sounds and crickets you can hear again around you.
You, like everyone else, will tell us nothing then. We'll get nothing from you, even though we wasted our time coming here to your tent, your camp. You'll tell us nothing then?
She's looking at you if you were using this to act as if a conversation never took place, or if you're actually asking that, and she doubts you for a second.
Yeah, how could we ever trust someone like you?
Why don't you two go
don't-
cool out outside? Cool
Cool.
down. I'll be with you in a moment.
Yeah, let's go look at the store and see if they've got anything interesting.
Not anymore.
Okay, I'll leave with John.
She
Carla will,
remains at
like,
her table.
reach out her hand to Eva. Just, like, she'll basically offer it, and she'll say, "You have one friend in this land, even if those two can be quite, irritable." But in her head, she's getting a different conversation, which is, hopefully, this will be enough to help cover our tracks a little bit. Stay safe, and call if you need us.
And you. You have the power to change this. Make sure you do the right thing.
She'll join them outside. You two cannot make friends for the life of you now. Where should we go?
What? Where are we going next? To Ardenvost?
Veloki, I believe. We've got to get the wedding dressed, and then we have to lay someone to rest in Kresk, and then we circle around to Argenvost. It's a whole loop, but that is our destination, I believe.
While we're in Velaki, should we stop by and just check in with Casimir and the others? See if Esmeralda made it back with the horses. Maybe we can pick up just Dave and the others and make our trip a little easier.
Yes.
I think I hear the horses now.
I think so too.
All right, I suppose we should be off. We learned nothing here. This was a waste of time. And he starts walking away.
Carlo will
All
turn
right.
into a giant eagle and grab him up out of the air, and then kind of wait for Casariel to, like, hop on.
God, I hate it when this happens.
As you all know, like, roleplay for the sake of roleplay is kind of like meh if it doesn't really contribute. So if you go over to Velaki just to get the wedding dress, is there anything else you want to do in the city, or just pick the wedding dress up?
We're just picking up the wedding dress. Everything else?
Is there anything? Oh god, I'm trying to remember.
Avoid the
I don't
fiends.
think there's anything.
Avoid Madame Voctor. Avoid a lot of people. Over there. Avoid the Burgermaster and his creepy demon arm sidekick. We'll be back for them.
We will.
Actually, if we
for
happen
now-
to run into them, if anything interesting happens from them like seeing us, then yeah. But if not, nothing.
Yeah, I think we'll take, like, if an interaction randomly, like, happens, if they happen to catch us or see us, then we'll take that. But past that, it's just wedding dress, and then over to Casimir and Dancy guys, Dancy Velaki man.
All right. The dice have spoken. Nothing happens in Velaki if you just go and pick up the wedding dress, so you have the wedding dress on you. It looks exquisite, by the way. It's a beautiful white wedding dress with some... they're not pearls, but they're like pearlescent like beads made onto them in a very intricate, delicate pattern. This is a wedding dress that would suit a lady of certain standing. So it's absolutely beautiful.
What do you mean?
It is definitely a dress for a pretty girl. Yes. So
A bit narrow
You take
at
that
the
with you.
shoulders, but fine.
yes, it's one of those dresses where you hate to see you go, but you love watching her leave. Yes. As you go from Velaki, you go to the encampment just outside, and we'll switch over to that. As you land, the Vistani camp just outside Velaki is pretty much still the way it always was. There is a little hill with a camp on top of it. And around it, you will see various small huts where the elves live. And there seems to be some people walking around. And here you are.
Yay. All right. So, Velaki or the Vistani or Casimir first. What do you think?
Maybe they're already together. I wonder if Esmeralda's already here.
We should check. Do we see the horses as we sort of like come up across?
There's a whole bunch of horses here, and you will recognize your own horses here as well. Yes.
Hello, Watson. You look very
Yes.
good. And she'll like.
Because
pet
Sarah
him.
makes a beeline.
Just Dave, you're looking stout.
That's the way to put it.
Zatara, aren't you the most beautiful girl in the whole wide world? Yes, you are. Did you take care of these two while I was gone?
The horse being quiet.
Of course you did. Of course you did. I know you did. You don't need to dignify that with an answer. Of course, that was a crazy question. It's my fault.
I guess we should. Hey, you there, and just the closest Vistani. Did Esmeralda make it back? Like she made it back, but where is she?
Oh, she's in the main tent.
What about
Could you
Casimir?
get
sorry.
yeah, Casimir to join us in the main tent, please?
He's in the main tent.
He's in the main tent as well. Excellent. Oh,
What about
incredible.
the Vistani leaders? Your leader guys.
They're in the main tent.
Who's not in the main tent?
I am.
Cool. Stand guard.
Fair.
And we
Okay.
head on in.
How's Arabella? Is she okay? She doing okay?
He looks over behind him, like, around the corner of the wagon, and you see Arabelle standing there being chatted up by two Vistani guys.
Arabella, don't trust men. Don't trust them. As far as you control them. Don't.
Blanket.
Yeah. Don't. Wait until you're older. You can have more sense. And she'll duck into the tent after John.
As you come into the tent, there's a sizable gathering in here. You'll notice Esmeralda, as well as Rudolph van Richten, who are here. Aragal and Luvash are both here, as well as a couple of other Vistani. And Casimir is here, who is joined by Savid, that you have rescued, to a degree, from Argynvostholt.
And her eyes will do a sweep and it'll land on Zentori. And she'll
Who's also
glare
sitting there.
daggers at him. And use her medallion of thoughts to detect his thoughts.
Sure. As he looks at you, the only thought you're getting back is, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, she's here, oh shit.
Let's see. I believe with detect thoughts I can go deeper.
Yes, but I
Or
do
wisdom
need to
saving throw.
roll for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wisdom saving throw of, I believe, my spell, which is 16.
That's no bueno. I rolled a 15.
Yeah,
I was like,
so I'll
yes,
go a little.
but I forgot that you went up. Yep.
I will dig a little deeper. And
dig a
see
little
what's
deeper.
kind of going on within his head.
Subtle panic as he sees the three of you coming in, and he's like, I think I need to get out of here. They're bound to go and talk, and I don't need this. I've just started. Oh God, why did I even get myself into this? I really don't like this. Like, that level of panic is just going on there.
I'm just reading up a little bit. It is someone snare to the mind, such as something that worries it. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna like flash him a smile and a wave, and I'm going to like just kind of like subtly like, take my dagger out and like twirl it a little bit, and then like pocket it back again and turn my attention back to the other people in the tent.
The Casimir's dagger.
Yes.
That is funny. Seeing as Casimir is here. Yeah.
Good, you're all here.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you guys, Esmeralda says. It's been a while. I thought you would be here sooner, but it's fine. I'm glad you're here.
Not going off on any foolhardy adventures alone.
No, I've been here. I've been speaking to a lot of people.
I guess what do you all know? And basically, I think we'll try to catch up just to see where what they know, and see what we need to fill them in. I assume Casariel and Carlo will probably take the lead on anything.
So Esmeralda, as you ask that, will stand up and she will walk to the middle of the tent. And in a short version, she will tell the most of the things that she knows, which is basically everything that you guys have experienced so far, leaving out a couple of key details that she doesn't know about either, which is a bit about the gems. She knows of the gems, but she doesn't know the significance. You guys do. And obviously the whole thing that happened in Ravenloft with the skull and whatnot, she has no knowledge about either. Other than that, she pretty much tells the entire story. Her story is also laden with hatred for Strahd and the fact that she thinks that you guys might have a good thing going here.
Yes, that's much of what we've been dealing with as well. We're still searching for some key puzzle pieces and elements of the story to make it all fit together, but we are getting very close. And I would advise you all to sort of get yourselves ready for protection in case anything happens. And to be very careful about who you trust. And she's going to look very distinctly at Centauri. And as she does that, the detect thoughts, I think, is still like, I think it's like 10. Let me just double check. Let me double check how long it's going, because I literally just checked that and was like, okay. Immediately forgot it. Detect thoughts. It is concentration up to 1 minute. So it probably would have been actually more than 1 minute since the way Esmeralda was explaining something.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think with that, then she's just kind of going to look at him very carefully and see his reaction to sort of saying, like, you need to be careful who you trust within your ranks. Trust only your most...
He's doing his best to just stare at the middle of the tent, not looking at anyone.
I'm going to walk over to him.
Cool.
Directly. I'm going to just walk over to him. I'm going to stand about a foot away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And just look at him. I'm going to cast Detect Evil and Good.
John's going to lean back and cross his arms and smile at this.
Alrighty. As you do that, he actually shows as neither or. He shows like completely neutral.
Probably will turn to Luvash, because I presume they're all probably noticing the very weird behavior everyone is exhibiting right now. And she'll be like, Centauri was at a dinner in Strahd's castle, one that we were unwillingly brought to, baited into, and he was sat there lavishly amongst Strahd's generals. Can you trust this man?
Excuse me, he says.
Centauri.
At
And
Strahd's
Carla,
dinner table.
yes, and Carla will do a minor illusion of sort of the image of it, and she'll say, he was there. We were baited in there, brought by a portal that Strahd conjured, using Casariel's mother, her dead mother, as bait for us to follow him in. He made us sit and dine with him. He made us... I believe he was just toying with us, but sitting there amongst his friends was Centauri.
And the food was delicious.
That is not the point. But...
Centauri, he says, is this true? These people might not be Vistani, they might not be true blood, but they have proven themselves trustworthy. They have done everything that one might expect of someone who is honorful, and I have no reason to doubt them. Is this true? And Centauri's eyes widen, and for a moment you get the feeling that he's trying to say no, but you see him darting his eyes between the three of you. And then he looks back and he says, I didn't mean to. I didn't want any of this. And Luvash, waiting for that exact answer, rushes over, grabs him by the collar, and pulls him into the middle of the tent, pushing him against the middle pole that is holding the large tent up.
Sean's gonna
And he's-
be prepared to
Yep.
stop him if he's gonna try to kill him or stab him or anything.
Sure. He pushes him against the pole and he says, I have allowed you to potentially marry my daughter if it would work. I have given you a position of power within our ranks. We are, to a degree, loyal to Strahd from a sacred bond that has been there through the ages. But we've always known that we keep our distance. We would never betray him, but we would also not seek any form of dealings with him. You know this. Why have you done this? And Zintori just looks like he can't answer. And Luvash says, you know what this means. You know exactly what this means. If we cannot trust you, then there is only one way we can deal with you. And Luvash indeed bears a dagger from the side that he's carrying.
We have to resolve this without killing him. He doesn't. Can you? What do you intend to do with this man?
Well, what do you think I should do? Just let him be after what he just did?
I don't know. Exile him, tie him up, do something other than just killing him senselessly is not going to get us anywhere.
What did you learn? What was the deal you made with him that allowed you to sit at his table? What was it?
Zintori looks over at Luvash, and Luvash just basically just nods at him like, speak up. Answer her question. And Luvash kind of nervously replies in kind and says, I was just asked to keep tabs on movements in the camp. It's not been that long, only a couple of weeks. I've just been in talks with him since, well, when you guys visited our camp for the very first time, when Arabelle went missing. I was just appointed by him. He said I had to be on the lookout for movements through the camp. I think he meant you three, as you were at the dinner as well. And, well, not much else. That was what he asked. I didn't do anything else. I didn't steal. I didn't murder. I didn't do anything.
What have you told him?
What have you told him?
Look over at Carla.
I told him that there were 3 adventurers going through the camp and they were helping out you. He points to Luvash. Looking for Arabelle, and that you went to a mansion. You guys helped out the people here, and the people here started to take a liking to you. That's what I told him. Nothing more.
Think maybe you would put the people in your camp in danger if he decided he did not like us? What did he promise you in return? What did he give you in return?
He promised me that I would be safe from anything that might happen in the future. And he promised me that if for any reason Luvash would, I could maybe take his place.
Zintori, to Strahd, you are nothing but a tool. Do you think he would protect you? Do you think he would?
He promised.
He promised an ant. He promised a dust mote. You are nothing to him. You have to understand this. What can you tell us about him? Did you go to the castle? Is there anything that you learned?
He's very civil. More so than I expected. Not kind, but he was treating me with respect for one of the first times in my life.
You all are not seriously buying this innocent little lamb bit, are you? Carla, certainly not you.
No. Not at all.
Of course, he's not innocent, but if we can learn anything from him, maybe, I don't know, maybe could we feed information?
He's a spy. He is a spy.
Why does, well,
That is all.
I thought he didn't need spies, though. And he holds up a piece of gold. I thought he didn't need
I'd look at
spies.
everything at once.
Gold
That doesn't
cannot
give him
do
every...
things for him.
I know that Strahd uses his money to scry on people, but cannot do that all the time. He still needs information. I'm not the only one that helped him.
Who else?
Possible. Who else?
There's so many
Names.
people.
Give them. Give names specifically. Give information you can.
I don't
Your
know
life
a
may
lot of
ride on it.
names.
John's gonna walk up and grab him by the scruff and say, "You are on the edge of a knife. This is your life you're talking about. You better talk."
I don't know names. I know faces. That's what I know. I'm not good with names. I know a priest. I've seen him once or twice. I believe he doesn't live in Vallaki. He's a little further away. He's a bit pudgy. He helps Strahd once or twice, I believe. I'm not sure. It was this guy from the city. He owns like the place that prints the papers. He helps him out. And there's a very upscale lady that lives in Vallaki as well. She talks with him.
Yes,
There's so
we
many
know about
people
that.
coming and going. I don't know. I just thought
Priest,
for
you
once I
mean-
would...
A priest of Vallaki, a priest in Barovia.
Not the one from Vallaki, but maybe from Barovia. I don't ever go there. It's such a drab place. I just thought for once I belonged somewhere where people respected me for what I did.
He doesn't. You're nothing to him.
Uvash is the one that's been greatly betrayed here. His people could have suffered consequences by any of the information that he would have sent to them, to Strahd. Not us, really. Strahd will do what he likes with us. I think, John, you should let the people who have been hurt handle this.
He's gonna walk up to Luvash and just say, like, his back angled towards Zentori so that he's sort of less heard. Is there anything that you can do that's not just killing him? Maybe you can get more information from him. Maybe you can do something. I don't...
Listen, Luvash says, I hear you, and my anger is strong, but I can... There's other ways that we can deal with this without killing him. But you will have to trust me with the fact that we will deal with this in our way.
I trust you, and
But
it's not my place to intervene in your customs or your ways, but if this would be a personal favor to me to not kill him.
Granted, I
Thank
will
you.
not.
Thank you, Luvash. We'll step away.
As you do, Casimir steps forward and says, This is gravely concerning. Strahd's reach knows no bounds. If he even doesn't trust his own Vistani, those with which he has made a sacred bond, they can leave his territory whenever they want. But still he does not trust them. Then matters are even worse than I expected. What do you suggest, you three? What have you learned beyond what we now know? What must we do?
Do you mean with him or with Strahd?
But Strahd, it feels as if more and more everything is being turned against itself. And if we want to make sure that this land does not implode in on itself, it feels that the time of action is drawing near.
It is.
I'm going to look to Carla.
What action do you suggest? Can we help?
We have one more thing to do before we can call on you. And if we can do it, then our hope should be high. What I need you to do is train your men. Trade what you can to get weapons. Be distrustful of people that seem from outside his own forces. Be distrustful even of the animals of the land until we return. I think you should put aside any worship you have to the gods that you believe in. I think you should pray to the Fanes. Give them hope, give them power, if you believe in that sort of thing. And it's a lot to ask, especially with what we've just unveiled here, but I would ask you to trust us. That we want nothing but the best for this land. That we want to be just as free as you.
As sad as it might be, we have little to lose. My people are doomed anyways, and if the best you offer is a shot, then we will take it. Savid, we will do as they say. We will train our brothers, and we will be ready. Call upon us when you need us.
And then she'll turn to the Luvash and she'll say, information is incredibly important. And we can't access all of that particularly quickly. We don't have the network to, we don't have the ability to, but your people travel around. They have the capabilities of reaching places, of having connections within them. If you could find books or information on perhaps anything to do with the March of the Dead, anything to do with Fanes, and anything to do with being undetectable. Just the most key information you can find. Get your people out there looking for it.
He turns around and beckons to female Vistani behind him, and he quickly whispers something in her ear. She does a nod at him, and then she rushes out the tent. All right. We will make sure that we will do whatever we can. It feels like we have little time, so I cannot promise on any of the points that you've asked, but within the time that we have, until you call upon us, we will do our best. Whatever we have then is yours.
Perfect.
Somehow feels strange that we will have to resort to this, but I know what has happened to Casimir's people. I know what has happened to you, and I know what it does to our ranks. He points to Zentori. We will be ready.
Perhaps you can be useful. You have access to the castle then, she says to Ventori.
Yeah, I have.
Do you know where the gem is?
Oh. You must speak of this green gem, right?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen it, actually, yes. It was brought in not too long ago.
At this point, Carla will detect thoughts again to just make sure that his story is colluding with what he's saying.
It's coherent, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I remember... It was this very strong lady that came in. Next to Strahd. They were laughing. She looked like a paladin almost, but...
Gwillem.
I'm not sure.
Did you hear the name Gwillem?
I don't recall. I'm sorry.
Where is it?
They took it upstairs. I was not allowed beyond the throne room, so, but they took it upstairs. It must be upstairs somewhere, then I guess.
All right. Upstairs beyond the throne room, you say? Above?
Yes, I was in the throne room when they came in, so perhaps one of the towers.
Did you meet the accountant guy? Behind all the papers?
Accountant?
Yeah.
No.
Never mind.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
You have access to Ravenloft. I have a spell that can change people's memory. Make them forget an interaction happened. Make them forget. Or, well, they can't forget things, but they remember it differently.
Mm-hmm.
As you'll be saying this mostly to John and Casariel. We could alter his memories, make it seem like this interaction never happened, that we fed him a piece of information that's wrong, send him back to Strahd. Or we send him to the castle as cannon fodder, looking for the gem.
No, that's brilliant. We should modify his memory.
Is Luvash hearing this too?
Are you saying it out in the open? Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
I'm saying
more
it
asking
mostly
Carla.
like whispering towards like John and Casariel more than anything. Like,
If we let him know, if we let Luvash know, and maybe this could be his punishment, as we basically use him as a distraction, not a distraction, but a convincing Strahd of something that isn't. Maybe, and then maybe he'll be able to give that information and come back and be out of harm's way. If he goes looking for the gem, if he goes doing anything for us, there's no way he's achieving any of that. Not in that castle.
no, not at all. But what he can achieve is a distraction. And this is something that we don't have to do immediately. We can hold it when we need Strahd in a place we want him to be. Maybe that he could scry on us to make sure that we're doing it right. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know what we would feed him. How we would.
Do you think you could get him to convince Strahd to meet him outside of the castle?
Probably not.
No.
No, I think all we could do is send him back as him still believing he's a spy.
Modify his memory that we came. That I stood up for Strahd, that you obviously did not like him, and that Luvosh did not believe us and sent us away.
Do you think
They would
You
never
would?
betray Strahd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Would we
Right.
tell him that we're going to be going to the Amber Temple again and looking more closely? Maybe that will get Strahd's attention.
We're going to make a deal with a different god. That might get his attention. Might.
We have to be sure. Although anything might be better than
If Strahd has
nothing.
animals watching us, they've already known that we've come into this tent. I think the best we can ask for, if he's not already listening to us now, is that
He simply is no. Yes, that's the thing. I'm like, if he already know, then we're just sending him off to his death. Let's do it. Let's just send him back, believing he's still a spy and that the Vistani are still loyal to him. Okay.
I think we should.
I will
Well,
Sorry, go on.
before you do anything, you may want to let Luvash know, just because, or Luvash know, because he may not take kindly to us altering his people.
Yeah, I will message Luvash this information.
And it will
And
take
say,
some
like,
time for Luvash to respond, but when he does, he says, that almost feels like an appropriate action. He's being careless with us. You're being careless with him. You have my blessing. Go on.
And she'll walk right up to Centauri, kind of face him. And she will hold out her hand and hold her hand to him.
Mhm.
And she will say, "This is what people who play with my heart get." And she will modify his memory. So you need
Is
to
there
make
a
me
save
a
on
wisdom 16 save. And if
No,
it
that's an 11.
fails... Okay, cool. So it fails. So I'm going to reshape his memory of us
wait.
walking into the
hang on.
taint.
But he does have, like, that's without modification. With modification, it's a 10. So that's even worse.
I mean, to be fair, he made a deal with Strahd. It makes sense.
Yeah.
He will now remember the events of this tent. He will have walked in. He will have watched us walk in. And he will see that I am pleading with them to join us in a fight against Strahd. And he will see that Cassariel is trying to de-escalate it in a way to be like, we don't want trouble, we don't want this. So he'll see conflict between the party. And then he will see the Vistani, like Luvash, saying, we've made a pact with the Lord of the Land. This is what we've done. It's too risky. We, like, basically not trusting us.
I'm not going to help
And this memory will take hold in his head. And what he's going to see then is a flash as coming out of, like, Carla's hand. And as that memory sort of implants itself within him, she's going to turn to John and say, "Knock him out.
Okay.
Knock him out."
Sorry, Centauri, and he'll bonk him on the back of the head with a plate mail thing.
So
He'll be knocked out.
the last thing he sees is a flash from Carla in his memory, and then he's knocked unconscious. So that when he wakes up, the kind of tent can make a charade that Carla had set off something, it knocked some people out, and we ran off into the night. Basically. Energy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That takes hold and works.
Okay.
He shrugs
And
to
anything that
Cassariel.
might seem illogical, he kind of starts to logic it out for himself. So yeah, that is done. That is done.
Next
As
time,
you see
I get to knock out the Vistani.
That's why she's mad. I love it.
I was like, "Oh, is she mad? I'm sorry. I didn't even think. He was just close."
No, it's alright.
So you might kill him.
John was
John-
telling
I know
me,
John
like,
wouldn't.
I'm
Pointed.
sorry, I shouldn't have hit him, but it's better than killing him. Oh, you're mad about that. Never mind.
Yeah, she'll then turn to Luvash and be like, "Okay, so the thing that's going to happen is you're all going to play pretend when he's here that I let out a spell, it knocked some of the camp unconscious, and I ran off into the night and my party chased me, that sort of thing, whenever he awakens.
All right.
Just
All
to
right,
keep
agreed.
the charade."
If he's out for more than 5 hours, he should probably see a doctor or a
No,
healer.
he'll be fine. Don't worry about him.
We'll have some
Um,
healing potions on hand, but thank you
Yeah.
for your medical expertise.
Well, it's happened before, so. Rudolph, any news?
Rudolph coughs softly as he stands up. Nothing from my side. There are a lot of complications concerning facing Strahd. So far, you are doing rather well. Of course, me and Esmeralda are also standing by. I would like to see more of your grand plan, but for now, we are awaiting. We will
I
be here,
think
of course.
What you could do is write a little manual on killing vampires. Start spreading it around.
That I can do. Yes. If they are training the men, I will join in. And I will tell them some vampire slaying techniques. That I can. That I will.
We encountered something recently that someone was under the impression that you were dead. On purpose by you, or
And who might that be?
I'm trying to recall, but I can't.
Is it Mila?
I'm like, I have. Might have been Mila.
Ludmila?
Oh, yes. Ludmilla.
Ludmilla is still on my bucket list. She is, without a doubt, a vampire.
Yeah.
As you might have noticed, my trade is to relinquish the world of vampires.
What's your
They are a plague.
No, go carry on.
They are a plague upon this world, as they should be removed from existence. No good ever comes from a vampire. But Ludmilla is, how you say, a partially turned vampire. She has turned on her previous... Well, she has turned on Strahd. And in that way, she can be useful. So for now, she is on the lowest part of my list, but make no mistake, she is still a vampire. She serves her own interests. She may not be dangerous to us, because there is something else that makes us like each other for a little bit longer. Mutual enemies tend to do that. When the mutual enemy falls away, then perhaps she might not be so forgiving. However, that is a bone I have to pick with her myself. You need not worry about that. Unless, of course, you want to.
What's your policy on werewolves?
I take no pride in putting down werewolves. They are different from vampires in a great many ways. The most important one is, of course, the way that they became what they are. Vampires always have a modicum of willingness in it. Everyone can be bitten by a vampire. Some people can be turned into vampire spawns, but becoming a true vampire is a modicum of choice. That is something that I really dislike. Werewolves, however, become werewolves not because of choice, but because of bad luck. Unfortunately, a lot of werewolves do not understand where they came from or what they are when they fully turn. And because of that, they cannot be reasoned with. Unfortunately, if I have to put them down, I will. They are dangerous. But they are also seriously misunderstood. I would always prefer to rescue them rather than to put them down. You know, of course, that werewolves are resistant to a lot of damages, yeah?
Mhm.
This is one of the reasons why they still exist in this world. I hope that you have put those pieces together by now. The reason that Strahd allows werewolves to roam his territory unchecked is because Strahd is really interested in the properties that werewolves possess. Werewolves are seemingly immune to anything but silver and magic.
And Straw does not.
Strahd is a different form of vampire, one that I have not encountered before. The basic means that would defy other vampires simply do not work on Strahd. Strahd is immune to holy water. He is immune to the cross. He is immune to silver. But I am not sure where the line is drawn and what he is immune or not immune to. But it feels as if he is trying to make his power even more expansive by incorporating that which the werewolves have. That is my theorem on this.
Interesting. Kind of boring, but interesting.
In John's head,
Love you, John.
he'll hear. Just do a little checksy check on him if you wouldn't mind. Just in case.
He opens up and does his divine sense within the tent.
All right. He is lawful good.
Oh, so I don't get They're
I keep mixing those two up.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
so yeah.
Yeah.
So just undead, fiends, and celestials, and hallowed ground.
None of those.
Okay, and within the entire tent. So I can't really sense outside of the tent.
None of those inside the tent. Nope.
Okie dokie. He'll look to Carla and just seems clean.
All right, Esmeralda, how are you doing?
Well, I want to say I have been better, but honestly, it gives me a lot of stress what we're doing right now. There's a lot happening, and I don't know. I said this to you guys before. It feels like we're getting somewhere, and that makes me anxious to see this through. Not because I don't want to, or that I believe or not believe in it, but simply that I don't want to lose what we've been building up so far. Like, if this doesn't work, then what else will, right? But you guys are still around. You guys are still working on it, and you guys have a viable solution to the big problem of Barovia, so to speak. And for the first time in a long time, I'm really starting to see that this might just happen. This might be it. I'm with you all the way. I can't wait.
Excellent.
Please stick by Rudolph.
Oh,
Wow.
Get the men in shape.
Well, I was gonna say, while he's seems very proficient at killing or at knowing about vampires and werewolves and other weird things, he's also a bit of a nerd, so he might need protecting.
He's been my mentor for so long, and I lost him for even longer. I will not go away from him anymore. I will stick by him.
No more solo trips into the swamp.
No.
Okay.
I learned my lesson. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. I'm gonna go over and talk to the Dark Elves. If you two have any other business with anyone else in the camp,
I think
sort of my last port of call.
Nope, we have a dress to deliver, and he'll start walking out.
Excellent. Carla will walk towards Casimir and Savid, and she'll be like, "Hello, hi Savid, good to see you again." And hello, Casimir, how are you? How
Hello,
have you
you
been
beautiful creature.
keeping? Anyway, go on.
That is what Savit says.
Yes. Casimir, how are you? Your knife has served me very well against the undead in this land. Thank you.
Casimir looks at Savid and then at you and then at Savid again. And the usually pretty stern and level, emotionally leveled Dark Elf has a hint of a curled lip as he sees what's going on here. And he says, rather well. How about yourself?
Good to know. Yes, my Sean. I've been working on this, and I do think there's hope. I really do. I hope that we can bring some peace to you and your people. I will ask, this dagger you have, it's very special. Do you have any special weapons of the ranged variety? Things with similar properties. It's okay if you don't. It's just a thought.
I do not. I'm sorry. I wish I did.
Okay. Perfect. You've been around a while. This March of the Dead, do you know anything interesting about it? Anything that might help us? I have this idea in mind that they're not able to reach the castle for some reason. Something blocks them, but if there's a way to get them into the castle, it would either cause havoc or put to rest the dead. And I did see some of your people among them marching. If we could lay them to rest a little bit, that would be good. Or cause some fucking mayhem in Strahd's castle.
I feel that the dead are waiting for hope.
And honestly, the only place that I think would exert that kind of power would be the castle. Not Ravenloft.
Lost.
Ravenloft has never been a beacon of hope, but Argynvost had a nickname in its day.
What was it?
The Silver Beacon is what it was called. For often during sunny days, the highest peak of the castle shone like a lighthouse. Whether that was because of their silver dragon that was perching on top of it, and the sun was radiating off its scales, or simply it was just a figure of speech, nobody really remembers, and honestly, neither do I. But if there's any place that I would call a beacon of hope in prior times, it would be Argynvost.
Interesting. Thank you for that information. It's good to know. Do you need anything from us?
The thing I need is that which you are already working on. So all I need, I guess, is patience and time. As do you, right, Savit?
And Zafid, who is still staring at you, Carla, is like pulled out of his stare as he's being spoken to, and he says,
Patience, yes. Yes, patience, discipline. Patience.
Okay. Wonderful. I'm going to go join my party members. We've got lots to do, and that time bit is getting thinner by the day, so wonderful seeing you both. And she'll exit the tent. But like she'll be kind of like half walking backwards, kind of like throwing smiles over her shoulder as she goes to join John outside.
as you walk out the tent backwards, Safid looks to the side if Casimir is like averting his eyes, which he is. And as he does, Safid quickly looks back at you and does like an encirclement of his heart and then raises his hand at you.
That's so funny. That's so funny. She'll
so cute.
yeah, she'll do the same. She'll do the same. She'll do like finger guns at the end though, because as she leaves.
I heart you.
Yeah.
Da, da, da.
Kasariel watches all of that, and then she looks over to Lungari. She just lifts her hand, shows him the ring, and then gives him a little wave. And as she backs out, that's what she's doing.
He waves back at you.
And they both back into John. No, so, oh yeah, ring. Interesting.
Yeah, it was his
Stole
ring,
this
remember?
last time.
I
Yeah.
threatened him.
Oh, that was it. Oh, right. I forgot about that. Like
That's her love language. Threats.
threats.
Right.
She's not threatening
Yep.
you. She doesn't care. All right. Is there anything going on outside, or can we head along?
The outside is still bustling with people doing, like, carrying things around, like basically camp life, but nothing that piques your interest.
All right. Was there anything at the mansion that we needed to attend to before heading to Kresk?
Oh, gosh, I don't think so. Unless we want to grab Busty and stick him in the bag.
Do we need Busty?
But he can read any language, I think. So, I mean, that's useful, but it's like a whole deterrence, and I don't think we're going to actually need him, but it's something.
Okay. Oh, wherever we're going, I suppose I'm ready. And he holds his arms out to be picked up.
We've got horses now.
Oh.
Come on.
Right.
I do. I do get this mental image of like Carla and Casario getting ready to get on the horses, like standing next to it, and just like and this John standing like a little ways away, arms stretched out, eyes closed, like
Let it happen,
and just
John. Let it
nothing
happen.
happening. Yeah,
He's actually braced to be picked up this time, and Carla's just sitting on the horse, like, okay.
Just
Yeah.
So, carry on.
All right. Where do you guys want to go?
We'll head to Valaki. Well, we got the dress, so we went to Valaki. So I think we're probably on the road to Cress. If it's like a long journey, we'll make a stop and camp up for the night, I think. But yeah.
I think if you want to head to Kresk, you will do so, but you will arrive at dusk. So you will be able to make it with the horses because you have quicker travel with horses.
Cool. Stay at
I
night
think
in the inn?
we'll arrive there at night, stay in the inn, check in with the Burgermeister, and then if he has anything interesting to say, if he's got nothing interesting to say, we'll head straight to the Abbey.
All right. In that case, you will arrive at Kresk. You will be invited in, of course. The Burgermeister will have some social talk with you. He will have nothing to report because nothing has really happened. There's still some werewolves in the area, but nothing too alarming right now. And he obviously allows you to use the inn to get some rest.
Did we have to bury the sister in Kresk graveyard or near the Abbey?
In the Abbey.
Okay.
So with that, if you take your long rest at the Kresk Abbey, let me quickly
We
check. because
take it
there
in the
is-
inn and then head up to the Abbey in the morning, I think, is the idea.
Right. Let me think. One more thing. Okay, cool. Nothing happens, so you can take your long rest.
Wonderful.
All the spells I didn't use.
All the spells.
I used
were
so many.
used. Yeah.
She went shopping and used half of her spells. That was great.
I also turned into an eagle twice.
That's true. That's true.
Respect the fact that my third levels get used up.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll head up towards the Abbey then.
Wonderful.
And
In that
just
case,
do
in the morning, you will go up the Abbey. The road itself, the little like zigzaggy road, is dusted by a layer of snow. So there's no footpaths right now, but you can still make it up there. And as you get to the gate of the Abbey, you can let me know what you want to do.
Is there
We'll go
any?
for one of those mongrel people first.
Yes, in the near the gate, Siegfried and Otto that you've met before, the one with the dog nose that is very excitable, and the one that is slightly more level-headed, sporting a cloak with some scaly hands and whatnot underneath, are on guard duty today. So they welcome you as you get to the gates.
Hello.
Hi.
So we're here to, drop off the wedding dress that we promised the abbot. We also have a delivery of a dead body to be buried within the graveyard here. She's a nun, so she's a holy person. So she's meant
She's
to be
not-
buried here.
She's none what?
None evil. No evil in her at all, because she's a holy person. So that's what she is. I think that's why they're called that. But is
She-
there a free grave or a grave marked with Sister? And I'll check her name.
Patience? Or...
Laquish.
No free graves, but you and also looks over at Siegfried, and Siegfried just sighs and says, "Sure, it's been a little while since we had a burial, but you know where the graves are. If you want to dig the hole yourself, you're fine. Feel free."
If we give you some coin to dig the hole while we're talking to the abbot, would you?
I don't need coin. I can't eat coin.
I can dig
We
the
have
hole.
rations.
Hmm?
We give you some rations to go.
What?
Wait, no, I have strudel. Okay, and she's going to pull out the Book of Misspells, and she's going to cast the spell that brings out those like little. Oh God, what was it called? It's like not missile.
Magic Gristle.
It's magic
Nice.
gristle. Magic gristle. She's gonna pull out that and make
God.
pastries.
Cool. So you get some you get some very fresh pastries out of your spell, 3 of them.
So, if these will help you with the energy you need, just dig a hole big enough to have like and like Casarial size, like her size. Small for a human woman, but yes. So just something, and maybe some twigs, and we're going to go talk to the abbot, and you can have these delicious results.
To clarify, we're not burying Casario. We have someone else.
We're not burying her. No, she's alive and kicking. I don't think she'd let us.
Okay. Otto says, and he rushes towards the graveyard to start digging. As he does, quite wildly.
Carla will leave the pastries with the other one and say, make sure to share, and then walk sort of eerily into the abbey.
All right.
Follow.
Moving along the path and getting towards the courtyard of the abbey, you walk through the gate and you see a well that's all too well by now. I imagine you don't look down the well as you pass it.
I don't look down, but I know it's down there.
And you walk towards the chapel part of the abbey, where you had met the abbot before. As you go inside, the abbot is indeed there today as well. He's wearing a different type of robe, but still it looks immaculate, as does the abbot himself. And next to him is sitting Vasilka, the supposed bride-to-be and recipient of your beautiful dress. As you come in, the abbot raises one hand at you, and with a friendly smile he says, "It is always good to see you. So glad that you could make it. How are you doing?"
Doing well. We have the dress as requested, finest Valaki dressmaker that we could get, and she'll kind of look at John to present the dress as she kind of pulls it out of her bag.
He holds it up to his own shoulders and
Gorgeous, right?
I would be remiss if I would forget to mention that it actually would look good on you as well, John.
it's a little
But I'm
tighter
kidding.
on the hips, but I imagine
Yes.
it would be. I haven't actually tried it on yet. I don't want to break it.
No, let's not. I think it would be a perfect fit for Vasilka. Thank you so much for doing this. It's hard to find people willing to help out in this world. I'm indebted to you.
Well,
What is?
if
How did you get? Why? What sent you here? In all my understanding of beings of a celestial nature, they have to be. They're driven by something, some force, some deity, god, whoever, greater than them. Who sent you here?
The Morning Lord works in mysterious ways, and a long time back, he sent me to discover what was going on in this world. There was a severance of power between him and the land, and he wanted to know what happened here. I quickly learned that severance was the departure of one of his most loyal servants, Sergei. And then I learned of the true nature of this severance, what happened to Sergei. And at first I have to admit that while I didn't feel anger, I was distraught.
And then I took my place and started finding a solution to this absence of connection. And, well, that is what I'm still working on till this day. Does that satisfy your curiosity?
Sergei is still here. We've spoken to him.
Sergei is still here in spirit, but he cannot perform much in that state. And I do hope for him that if the situation would ever be resolved, his spirit would be absolved and allowed to pass on to eternal bliss, rather than to be forced into servitude or kept here to perform additional tasks. Maybe he didn't live his life to full potential, that it was cut short, but I think after all these years, he is entitled to rest.
Agreed. I'm going to look to Casario and Carla.
You said you're indebted to us. Could you pay that debt with information? Any at all you could give us?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to just say, like, out of character, like, I'm very single-minded on this, like, ghost thing at the moment, so, like, you guys let me, if you have smarter questions, please just chime in. Please. And I am going to say, well, I am quite interested in the undead that are marching on the castle every night. Speaking a little bit with a friend of ours, and they suggested a beacon of hope might help lead them into the castle and help the souls be put to rest. Do you know much of Argynvost and the beacon of hope that they speak of?
Lord Argynvost was a silver dragon, and in that regard, he was a beacon of hope to a lot of people. Now, Lord Argynvost may have perished, but they did build a consecrated place for him to enjoy his eternal rest. Unfortunately, Strahd saw this and removed part of his skeleton so that he could never find rest. In restoring his body in the hallowed ground that he is allowed to rest, perhaps that would restore the beacon.
Wonderful. Okay. Do you have any books from Argynvost? Did any of them end up here in the Abbey, do you know?
Unfortunately, our library, while extensive, is also a bit haphazard. I'm not one to read much. I'm not sure if we do have any books, but truthfully, I don't think any books of Argynvost might have ended up here. Most of them were destroyed or sold off.
The mongrel folk outside. What are their origins? What are they?
They are a byproduct of misfortune, and you would almost say that they are cursed, even though they are not. They're simply miscreated. Nobody loves them, but they do need a place to feel safe, and that is why I decided to let them live here, so that they can be useful.
Where did they live?
A place where they can go home.
Where did they live before you?
Everywhere and never. They lived everywhere.
We've
like
seen
rats.
one. We've seen some of them too. We've seen one in the castle in Ravenloft.
You speak of the brother of Cloven.
Maybe.
You've met Cloven, haven't you? He's downstairs. He plays the violin.
Yes. Yes, he's quite good at it.
His brother once was sent to the castle, but he never came back, and we all assumed that he might have perished. If you say he still lives there, it must be him.
Xariel side-eyes John.
He's an arranger of things. I don't think he understands what he does.
Unfortunately, most of the mongrel folk are in a range of things. It's their very nature.
Do you know anything about the werewolves near here?
I don't know much about the werewolves. I know they are there, and I will not allow them to get close to the abbey. I have people to protect here, the mongrel folk amongst them. But I don't know much about them. I do not tend to focus on them.
And say, Abbott. Sorry.
Whatever you were going to say.
Hey, say a big fight broke out in Barovia. Big fight between the people and the ruler. Final one. Something that feels like it may just put an end to everything. Would you get yourself involved, or would you stay behind?
By nature, I am not one to fight. And whomever wins will have a very difficult task to choose on how to move forward from whatever happened. I hope it will be the right party. But be that as it may, if it is the right or the wrong party, there will still be those in need of help, the defenseless. I need to be there for them, so I will not pick sides.
You say you would defend this place from the werewolves. You would defend it against those. Why would you defend them from the werewolves, specifically?
Every once in a while, the werewolves tend to crawl up the mountains here. The mongrel folk that live here are easy prey. They are not much of a fighter. They're easy prey for werewolves. That is why I defend them. They need someone to defend them.
I understand.
These mists that blanket the land, they cut it off from the Morning Lord's light. Do you think it cuts it off from anything else? Or everything?
Nobody can escape this land, so it cuts it off from everything else as well. Yes.
You want to defend those who cannot defend themselves. And though you are not a fighter, or do not wish to be a fighter, you have some capacity to defend those who need it. Is that correct?
Yes. That is correct.
The people of this land need that very protection. While not always as defenseless as those who live in this abbey, there are many who could not live beyond the walls of their own cities. There are many that would suffer if this land remains under the rule of Strahd. And what you have chosen to devote your energy into, appeasing him, giving him something that you believe would cause him to relinquish his hold. If it came down to the fact that you needed to defend the people of this land from the predator that lives in that castle, would you take up arms?
I do not need to. For my solution will be the solution to fix this land. Strahd's issue is love. And if I can grant him love, he will relinquish his hold over this land.
I'm going to look at
and I will have
Casariel.
saved everyone.
I'm going to look at Casariel to see if she has anything to input on this.
She doesn't. I mean, there's a whole philosophical question about love and all that stuff that goes behind that Casariel's just not going to touch. She knows that it's not going to help, so she's going to leave that one alone.
That's you have your solution, and we're going to work on ours, and we
You
help.
have brought the solution closer than ever. With this wedding dress, I will be able to present Vasilka here to Strahd. Surely he will see that this is what he wants. After all, she will be the perfect vessel for what Strahd truly wants. She is ready.
Tatiana?
Well, yes.
Yes.
Tatiana's body might not be willing, but Vasilka's body is. And if we transfer the essence of Tatiana into this body,
I don't think I need to know the details. Best to keep that now to yourself, just to, make sure that.
When will you be attempting this transfer?
very soon. Now that I have the dress, I will make plans to travel over there within the next, well, say week, and see that this might be a solution.
Can you try a bit sooner and see
Later.
what might happen?
If he kills her.
I was going to say if it fails, then maybe we'll have this guy with us. So
In
when you
his
say
head, he'll hear.
transfer, what
In
if-
John's head, he'll hear. The man is stitched together, dead bodies. He's clearly crazy. We don't want him on our side.
Right, but when it obviously was going to fail and Strahd just sends him away, do you think he'll be angry?
I don't know, but I don't think so. I think he'll try something different or a different vessel. But I think that might end up with Arena dead. I suggest give it a bit of time because we're going to be stirring the pot a little bit, and I feel like he'd be more receptive to love after.
Why on earth did we
We've
just
given
give
our
him a
go.
dress?
There's only so much adversary you can do in this land. And he's also of the Morning Lord, so that just feels a little bit less
Well,
bad.
best of luck with your arranged marriage, I suppose. Get it arranged because never mind.
Yeah, that's hilarious, actually. Could you, before we go, are you able to dole out blessings of the Morning Lord?
Well, of course. I mean, it's not asked that much, but of course. Please, approach.
She's going to put down her crossbow and she's going to be like, can you make that holy? We did bring you a beautiful dress and paid for it out of our own pockets. I'm just saying.
She needs to use it to destroy evil or something.
I can try, I guess.
I'll take a try.
I've never blessed weapons before, but allow me. I just gave a roll for it, and he puts a hand on your crossbow, and it doesn't seem like anything changes about it. Though, when you pick your crossbow up again, there is a very subtle hum of energy coming from it. You can replace your crossbow with a crossbow +1. It doesn't give you any holy damage, but it is magical now.
Amazing.
Hell yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Roll of cool. That's a smart move.
Right, well, we've got a nun to bury in here, so we'll be off. And Carla's
Yeah.
going to be heading towards the door.
I imagine he looks over at the other two, and John just pulls out the light sword, and he's like, "I'm good." And Casariel exists in a state of grace. So, all right, let's go bury the sister. I think we're just gonna walk out to the place where the hole exists now.
Wonderful. And as you walk outside and look up at the night sky, well, not the night sky, the day sky, that is still pretty gray and cold. You can't help but shake the feeling that a lot of things are starting to come together. All the people you're speaking to, all the people that you're grouping together, it's starting to get closer and closer The net is starting to wrap around it all. You take a breather, John, as do all of you, and you walk towards the graveyard to inter the body of the dead sister to the graveyard of the Abbey, which you will do next week because it is time. Time flies when you're role-playing, huh?
Whew. I don't think I rolled a die.
I don't think you did. Yeah, this is the first episode that you guys almost didn't roll. It was just pure
That's why
role
he's
play.
done so well this episode. Oh goodness.
This was fun.
That was fun, indeed.
Wrapping up a bunch of loose ends here today.
Feels good, right?
Mhm. Thanks,
Didn't-
guys, for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys. Real quick, yeah, thank you to our amazing dungeon master for making this.
Oh yeah.
Like, there are a lot of aspects of this which are pre-made of the game, but there are so many that we're gonna get a hint at the end of this. We're gonna understand how much of this was homebrew, and so many people have been working on this. So many different hands have touched this to make it into what it is. But thank you so much, Barry, for basically being that linchpin that keeps everything together and driving all of this. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And it's a team effort, really. And I really can't wait until we get to the final episode, and then like after that, before we transition to our new playthrough. We're gonna also take a moment to reflect on the Curse of Strahd, answer all of your questions, get through the maps, and be like, okay, you know, what happened here? What was homebrew? What was improv? Like, I've been keeping meticulous notes on that, and there's moments where I so want to share this with you. But there'll be an episode where we do that, and we're getting close to it.
Oof.
All right. I think we're gonna
All right.
wrap it up.
Absolutely. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching and or listening, and we hope to catch you again in the next episode 47 next week. The Curse of Strahd. We'll see you there.
Bye bye.